Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks in New Orleans facing Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans. Our first chance to do Zion for the NBA cast. We've of course watched many of his games and talked about them on Dunked On, but yeah, this is really exciting, and we'll have lots to talk about with this one.
So, biggest thing that I'm looking at is Zion going to be able to finish against this crazy Bucks front line, where he has been killing it in the paint. When he misses around the basket, a lot of the time he's getting his own offensive rebound. So is that going to translate here? You see early start, not as many fans there. But let's take a look here. The other thing I want to watch very closely is the defense from Zion and Brandon Ingram. And who's going to guard Giannis? I guess that's going to probably be Favors, I'm going to say. They're trying to run Ingram off a screen on the weak side. Oh, intercepted by Middleton as Ingram misread it. Here's Bledsoe, but he lost it out of bounds. The pass from Middleton bounced a little bit too high. Right there, Brandon Ingram looked like he probably should have curled instead of flaring away, and that left the opening for Middleton. Here's the ball with a late close from Bledsoe, and Giannis pushing in transition. Favors does have the matchup on Giannis. They try and load to him. They don't, and it's going to be a foul right away. And if Derek Favors gets in foul trouble, I shudder to think of who it's going to be to guard Giannis after him.
Yeah, I mean, Giannis creates so many challenges for basically any opponent, but especially one that has less stout centers in the rotation. Jackson Hayes does not really have that, that kind of strength right now, and Ingram doesn't. So yeah, that would be a big problem. Maybe we'd see some Zion, which I think would be a challenge for him as he's still kind of getting back into his full form.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting of whether he can defend without fouling. But there we saw the Pels. You could see the plan was to load to Giannis in transition, but they didn't really do that. They sort of were just there, didn't have an effect to let him get penetration against Favors and draw the foul. And 2 free throws in a row is always a cause for celebration this year for Giannis. And now it is Giannis guarding Zion Williamson, and the nice dig down from Bledsoe. And it's not just that rim protection from the Bucks. It's plays like that one by Bledsoe where they come off of the three-point shooters at the nail to prevent penetration before you even get to that massive backline of defense. Matthews wide open off a screen. Brandon Ingram got totally hung up, and they're lucky that he missed that one. Yeah, Bledsoe just obliterated Ingram on a screen. Ingram is very poor at getting through screens. Ingram looking to attack into the mid-range. Zion going at Giannis. Here's balls 3 again, and yes, there it is. That nice passing from Zion.
Yeah, nice read and nice speed on that pass, giving Lonzo enough time to release.
They double up on Middleton. Now it's a post up by Wes Matthews, putting Lonzo in the goal, and that's just not good enough from Lonzo. He's just got to be tougher.
And when you have Drew Holiday, who is a versatile defender, kind of want to have reciprocal versatility with your other teammates so he can guard whoever.
Holiday, very bad shot there. Yeah, he was well contested by Matthews. Middleton looking for Bledsoe. Ball denies him briefly. Now it's Giannis handing off to Middleton. Wide open in the mid-range. Once again, you see Brandon Ingram, zero chance getting through a screen. He is so bad at that, Danny. It's 2 wide open shots they've gotten attacking him that way now.
And Zion had a tough decision on whether to help off of Brook Lopez, who was behind the arc.
Now Zion feeling the 3 over Giannis. Not there. And Milwaukee will give him that shot.
They will.
Here again, they match up poorly in transition. Deep 3 that time from Wes Matthews. Bucks taking it to New Orleans early here. Here's Ball feeling it off the screen from Zion. And another 3 from Ball getting New Orleans going here. Massive screen from Zion that time. Here's Giannis going at Favors again. Trying to draw the second foul. Cannot. Miss layup. Throw ahead to Ingram. He's going to attack Lopez in transition. No, he backs it out. Good job by Matthews picking him up. And they'll get into a half-court set. Pick and roll with Ball. Back to Ingram. Into the lane. Tries to draw the foul. And Giannis with the steal. No gravity from Zion that time.
Great play by Drew.
Oh, yeah. Those hands are so sticky. Here's Favors. Oh, Bucks got back. Now it's a 3 from Ingram in the corner, and he's tied it at 9.
The Pelicans have not taken a 2 yet in this game.
They may take over 50% of their shots from 3. We know that Milwaukee forces teams to take a ton of threes. Here's Lopez. Terrible defense from Zion. That is
again, not getting through a screen.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, explain to me how he's not getting in front of him there. Like, he just reaches. That is really lazy. And we haven't really had much of a stoppage yet, so it might be tired a little bit. Here's Zion going at Giannis, knocks him back, tip. No, but he did get his own offensive rebound off the first miss. Here's Lonzo. Can he make a third? Yes!
Wow.
3 of 4 from downtown already. New Orleans takes the lead. And if you're Milwaukee, you just got to weather the storm here. Those are the shots that you're giving up as a defense, and you got to hope New Orleans starts missing a little bit. Missed floater from Middleton. Push from Drew Holiday. Giannis is there, though. Holiday, I mean, you see the strength of Holiday. He knocked Giannis back on that play. Now Holiday attacks Lopez. Under control. Lopez is huge, though. Nice pass from Zion to Ingram. And yet another 3. That's 5 threes already for New Orleans.
Yeah, and a part of why New Orleans is shooting so many threes is Milwaukee has size back in transition. But there they get an open 3 out of it anyway.
And that's 2 great passes from Zion to set up threes already. Now Lopez, size advantage on Zion, and just goes right through him. Again, Zion, he's not locked in defensively at all. Like, that's just not a high effort level on that play. Holiday looking weak side, now attacks Middleton and scores over him. Beautiful patience. I mean, that incredible strength from Holiday, and we'll finally get a timeout after this breakneck pace here.
Yeah, it's been an incredibly fast first 5 minutes. The no free throws, no stoppages at all. It's pretty impressive. So we, as usual, we will take your questions during all stoppages. Oh, that's an interesting one. What is one trade you want to happen?
Oh, yeah, there should be a YouTube link. Let me see here.
Yeah, there is. I think I shared it.
Oh, you did? It's
Yeah.
up for sure.
And Ben tweeted it out, so we should be good. And I'm watching on it.
Yes, I guess that would be a good indication that it's running, right?
I should have started with the strongest one.
Yeah, and guys, you can just follow that account on YouTube and set it for alerts. So whenever we go live, you can just get a push notification.
Yeah. Given how deep the Celtics are on the wing, would Boston taking a flyer on Harry Giles for Ojeleye make sense, or is having to pay him a problem? Well, if you trade for Giles, you kind of can't pay him because you can only pay the amount of that declined option. I think that Giles' weakness defensively would be a big problem for the Celtics. Remember that Giles is not capable enough defensively to really play center on the Kings, and Boston has much loftier aspirations than Sacramento does. And I still like Ojeleye. So, if you can get Giles for less, sure. But I wouldn't give up Ojeleye for him. I also like Ojeleye. It appears more than Brad Stevens does.
Seems the only surefire way to beat the Bucks is to have a record or near record shooting night. Yeah, the Nuggets did that. We'll see. I mean, it depends how good of a shooting team you are, right? If they were going against last year's Golden State, for example, or that Toronto team, which had some really, really good shooters, Lowry and Van Vliet and Danny Green, then maybe you don't need a near record. But it is going to be very interesting to see a team like the Lakers or the Clippers, teams that don't take a lot of three-pointers, how those teams might match up and against the Bucks. But I really think your way to beat the Bucks is you got to do it on your defensive end, slowing them down and turn it into more of a rock fight. And that's why
that's what Toronto did really well last year. Would the Raptors be a favorite against the Sixers with home court in the playoffs? I don't think so. I know that the Sixers have been a terrible road team in the regular season, but a lot of those advantages toned down in the playoffs. You have consistency in terms of where you're staying. They're never back-to-backs. And I think, you kind of lean towards who has the better player. To me, that is Joel Embiid, as much as I love Pascal Siakam. So I would have the Sixers as the favorites. It would be closer, but I would have them as the favorites.
Am I wearing 2 hats? No, I got this hat in Japan. I thought it was just so quintessentially Japan that I would bring it back. All right, we're back here seeing J.J. Redick warming up for the joust behind him. We're back now. The Iverson cut for Bledsoe. Tries to attack baseline. Now he comes off the screen from Giannis. Picked up by Ingram. And he's poked in the face. And Ingram can't believe it. He thinks that Bledsoe was acting. We'll see if that in fact was the case.
I think he probably got hit in the nose.
Oh, yeah, of course he got him. What's Ingram pissed off about? He got him right in the face. Here's a drive. Bledsoe, baseline. Good job not fouling by Ball. And now Holiday is in transition. Gets it back from Favors. Attacks baseline. Double team. There's 3 guys in the paint. Zion underneath going at Lopez. Stopped by the combination of Giannis and Lopez. Now it's Ingram's 3. And rebound to Bledsoe. Bucks play at one of the fastest paces in the NBA, as do the Pelicans. Nice duck in from Giannis. Ingram powerless to stop him.
Yeah, no chance of stopping Giannis there for Ingram. He's just not big enough.
Here's Ball back to Giannis back to Zion going into Giannis. Holiday attacking Wes Matthews. Has to float up over Lopez, but what a tip from Zion for his first bucket of the game. Pels by 4.
And he cleared space in front of Giannis to get that offensive rebound.
There's the 3 from Brook Lopez. He has struggled from out there this year. Hasn't had quite the same level of gravity. Pick and roll. Zion sets the screen, gets it, goes up, and he's stopped by Giannis and Brook Lopez. Here's Middleton backing out to the 3-point line. Bledsoe attacks Favors. Eschewed the layup for some reason and threw a bad pass to the corner. Matthews fading away. That is not a good shot at all. What's he doing?
Yeah, I mean, there was still 10 seconds left on the clock.
You're getting whatever you want. Why take that shot? Zion looks to screen for Ball. Pocket pass. Jump stop. Giannis stopped him again. Giannis doing a really nice job on him so far. Here's Holiday. Patience. Favors corner 3. Going back to his Utah days. And shooting about the same percentage as he did back then too. Bledsoe attacks Ingram. Stopped that time.
And great job of using his length there. Let Bledsoe get to a spot and know that you have the length to contest that, and in that case, block it.
Yeah, and Ingram, that's where he's better. That actually, they're showing that replay. That should have been an and one with his arms forward there. Because Ingram, one-on-one against smaller players, that's where he actually is effective defensively. But size, getting through screens. Here's another wide open look coming off a screen. Good screen from Ilyasova on Holiday, and no help reaction from the Pels. Ingram again was in position, couldn't affect it. Drive by Holiday, loses it. DiVincenzo, who's come on. He's the trailer right down the lane. Easy finish. That's a nice explosion from DiVincenzo. Ingram feels he has the matchup on Ilyasova. He's right, but Ilyasova forced him to lose it from behind.
One of the other huge differences you see between these two teams is that Milwaukee can pull the other team's best shot blocker out of the paint a lot more easily than the Pels can because of who their personnel is.
Yeah, another tall Lopez twin is in. Here's Redick, just came on off a screen. He's a valuable player against Milwaukee because you can't give him wide open threes. You're going to lose if you do that. Middleton creating the space against Hayes in the lane. Noteworthy here that as soon as Giannis goes out, they come in with Hayes for New Orleans. I'm interested to see, do they go back to Favors when Giannis comes in, probably with about a minute left in this quarter, maybe at the start of the second. Redick eludes Connaughton. Mid-ranger is good to tie it at 21.
And so right now it's 7 twos and 11 threes for New Orleans. So the balance has gotten closer since the start.
Middleton guarded by Holiday, shakes him 3. Oh no, Holiday got a piece. Middleton,
what a pass!
It was a foul, and because Middleton complained about it, the pass got behind him, and then Holiday compounds it by blowing the layup. Here's DiVincenzo, quick release, but that's off. Rebound to Ingram. Frenetic pace, but the shot making has calmed down a little bit here. Here's Holiday, backdoor, nice look from Ingram, dropped it to Hayes, but the pass went awry. Good thought, but just not quite the execution they needed on that.
Yeah, and when both guys are moving, you have a tighter passing window, and Drew's pass was just a little bit low, made it hard for Hayes to react in time. Oh, they're calling that New Orleans. I think that was off of Jackson Hayes' right hand, but either way.
Holiday will sit down as well. Josh Hart replacing him. Redick to his right. Stopped by Connaughton. Gets it back. Hayes on the roll. Stopped by Lopez. Great defense again by Milwaukee. They always have someone there at the rim. But that means that you give up shots like that. And Redick, credit him for continuing to move throughout the possession in that two-man game with Hayes. Kyle Korver has come on. Ilyasova, terrible step back. Not a good shot there. Throw ahead to Ingram. Attacks Ilyasova. Ilyasova tried to draw the charge. Now he's blown by Ingram. Oh, what a reverse.
Woof.
Ingram doesn't have a great left hand, but he didn't need it that time. What a play. DiVincenzo switched onto by Ingram. Creates a space, gets it stripped. Nice play by Ingram. Again, he's much better guarding smaller players. As long as he doesn't have to come off a screen. Boy, having Redick and Korver both on the floor really brings me back, Danny.
Generating a lot more open looks from three. Not that was a problem in the early going.
Here's Ingram, has to fade away over DiVincenzo and hits. And that's another shot that will be there to some degree, is that mid-ranger for Ingram. They're going to need him to hit some of those tonight. And New Orleans, it doesn't really feel like they've played that well, Danny, but they lead by 7 right now.
But they've hit a bunch of jump shots.
Yeah. Yeah, the shot charts will be fascinating, as they always are in Milwaukee games. There's Ball, and he swipes in, fouling Lopez. Has not been a high foul quarter, though, at all.
And we're getting a stoppage. I think it's a good time to talk about bookies.com. One of the things that I really enjoy about Bookies is that it's about information. And information can be really important. It's something that you and I do a lot in our basketball podcasting, and they do it to help people make better bets.
Yeah, the other thing that I enjoy about Bookies is that they sponsor our show.
Yeah, that's useful as well.
I really like that about them. But seriously, I think that's important because our show is not traditional media here. They're taking a chance on us, and we hope that you'll support them as well. If you do some sports betting, you could do that by clicking through to legal sports betting. They have the best deals on that available in your state, or by getting the aforementioned information where you can compare lines and odds across various providers to find the one that you are looking for. You can follow them on Twitter at Bookies, or go to bookies.com/NBA.
How much of a downgrade would Looney be from Capella? There's the rumor that the Houston would try to get Looney in this massive 4-team trade. It'd be pretty significant in most respects. Capella is just a much more reliable player. He also knows how to fit within the system. I think Looney could pick up elements of it defensively over time, but from a health perspective, I think that's an important thing, though Capella's dealing with this heel element right now. However, I think the margin between the two of them dulls most of the time in the playoffs, because if Houston considers that their best 5-man lineups do not include Clint Capella, well then, if he wasn't going to be on the floor in the first place, then it doesn't make as much of a difference. Capella / Looney is still going to play, but it is less prominent in that context.
Sorry, I'm trying to mess with my Twitter lists here.
I'm sure we'll get this one a lot. What do you make of the possibility of Wiggins ending up with the Warriors? There is basically no construction of a trade that gets Wiggins to the Warriors that I think would be a good idea for the Warriors. There is this idea that, because one of the biggest problems with him has just been effort. And there's this concept of if he goes to a different place, then maybe it's going to be there. He's been under a lot of different coaches. He has played on a playoff team, and Wiggins has still never been that guy. And so, yeah, I believe it's possible that the Warriors would bring out the best yet of Wiggins, but that the best yet doesn't make him good. It just makes him better than he's been.
Well, and they need someone who can make shots at that position more than anything, and he can't do that.
Yeah, and thinking about who could potentially be, Draymond will be an integral part next year. potentially Andre Iguodala, if Wiggins gets into that mix, it doesn't help things, especially considering he's already taken shots away from a talented offensive player in Karl Anthony Towns.
All right, we're back here. 7-point New Orleans advantage. DiVincenzo looking for Korver. Now he sprints out to the strong side. Ingram can't get through the screen again. Another open three, and they're lucky to miss that. But, I mean, I'm not sure if that was specifically designed as that's a speculative pass from Lonzo. He didn't have enough room in front of the Jackson Hayes. There's a nice pass from Korver. Ilyasova blows the layup. That's 2 plays that Korver has gotten with his gravity, but they just haven't been able to convert the shot. Hayes.
If he had that shot.
Setting the screen, didn't get enough separation for Redick. Here's a quick 3 from Hart. Nice box out from Ilyasova. DiVincenzo goes at Redick. Yeah, he recognized who was back, and he goes right at him. Great recognition there from DiVincenzo. If that's someone else back it out. But J.J. Redick, when you get a head of steam at him, you're just not going to be able to stop him. Hayes looking for Redick himself. Didn't make contact on the screen. They block it. Hayes' screening has been poor the last couple of possessions. Oh, wow. Terrible pass from Connaughton. They throw it ahead here. And Redick with an incredible layup.
Showing off that max vert. And this is a 7-point lead for the Pels.
Yeah, it has remained so. I mean, the Bucks really have missed a lot of chances in this first half. Here's DiVincenzo. Deep 3 to get the 2-for-1. That's off. Ingram rebounds. He'll push it up. He's not even going to try to get the 2-for-1. Should take this here. Does. And we're going to get 3 foul shots. 3 throws. I think I got it.
I think that was pretty good. When we have 3 free throws, I feel like we can do a question during that time. What would the Lakers have to trade with Kuzma to get Marcus Morris? I would recommend listening to the mock deadline. The big challenge for the Lakers in terms of matching up salary is that it becomes a numbers game. They have to do it through volume, and then you have to kind of get those players somewhere. Because even though the Knicks might not have to might not want to keep all of those Lakers on the roster, you still have to complete the trade. And so maybe they would try to have to find other places. That gets more complicated. But the mock, I can't remember the exact terms. You were negotiating for the Knicks, so do you remember it?
Yeah, I mean, I think Avery Bradley had to be in it, and then we got Reggie Bullock to come back for Quinn Cook in a separate
and then Boogie
deal.
and Demarcus was the third guy.
Yeah,
it was a 3-for-1 and then a 1-for-1, and that took the whole 3 throws. I can't do it yet.
3 throws. Double team on Giannis, and that's what they're gonna have to do now here. On these post-ups with Favors out of the game. They do it. DiVincenzo underneath. Tried to go for the hook shot. He's on the ground. Swinging around. I guess they got a new shot clock. And a 3 from Korver is the result. I don't know why the shot clock didn't reset or reset there. It did reset, which was odd. And then Ingram's 3 is short. I kept expecting them to run out of time, and they just never did. The shot clock was just sitting there at 0 on their graphic.
From Blackrook, is there any way to sync Twitch with the game? The best way to sync with us is actually through YouTube. You can find the link. Nate's tweeted out. I've retweeted it. The reason why YouTube is good is because you can, if we are ahead of you, then it has a function. It has a pause button, and so then you can pause us to catch up. And if you're like, well, I'm ahead of you guys, there are ways to slow it down. You could go try to find a stream. You could use TNT's app. Various ways you could do that. If you are ahead of us, so that YouTube is the best option, and that should be tweeted out at this point.
Yeah, and if you guys want to support us, give us a retweet or share on your social media of choice. Text your NBA loving friend to check this out.
Or support us, patreon.com/DuncanLaRue. Great way to do that. One of the fun ways we engaged with our Patreon subscribers was we did basically a fake trade evaluation podcast, and the submissions were all from our Patreon people, and they were excellent. I mean, we had a ton of content. It was really fun to do that. I'm guessing and hoping we'll do it again.
Yeah, so it's so funny. I mean, Brandon Ingram, 13 points, +7. He's done it on basically 7 shooting possessions. Very good. But as we've noted, his defense has largely been poor. He made a couple of nice plays in the situations where he's built for. But, I do think that his defensive struggles, especially playing the 4, are an underrated part of why they haven't been able to defend. And I'm interested to see when we get a little more sample of what it looks like with him at the 3, Zion at the 4. What did you think of Zion's first quarter here going against the Bucks?
Well, there's a question of, is he so undeniable that he can do it against anybody? I don't think that was true. I think that he was running into 2 bodies a lot, and those 2 bodies were strong enough that he couldn't get as much. But we did see more of Zion as the passer. The Bucks can overreact and over-rotate a little bit, and I thought Zion did a nice job of creating looks that way.
I mean, what I still have been talking about wanting to see from Zion since we first saw him as a prospect was run a pick and roll with the small. Try to get him in rotation that way. Back down. Force that help to come over. But he is going to have to learn, this is a team that you, in large part, can't just go through at the rim. I mean, there have been very, very few teams. I can't stress this enough. This is the greatest rim protection team of all time. These last 2 years, Milwaukee Bucks. When Lopez and Giannis are in position, and part of it's their scheme, that they're willing to give up threes, and they barricade the rim so you don't foul and you don't give up layups, and you don't make layups. And because a lot of it's just about deterrence more even than it is forcing misses around the rim. So that's why I was so fascinated to see this with Zion. And that's the pass that's available, is throw it back out to the corner when you got 3 guys on you under the rim. If you're attacking the basket in the half court, you're going to have 2, maybe even 3 guys on you. And those guys are Giannis and Brook Lopez and Robin Lopez and Ilyasova, who's going to sell out to protect the rim. Yeah, any chance Zion can function as a ball handler in big pick and roll? I like it better against a small because then he's got the size advantage. He can back into the lane and score, whereas they'll switch it and it'll be going against the center. Here's Giannis. Zion now matched up against Giannis. This is fascinating as Korver gets into the corner.
Moving to his right.
Yeah, he's always going to go to his right. That was a nice little design there to find him out of the post. So they've got Giannis guarding Melli, and they've got Robin Lopez guarding Zion here.
And we've talked about this before in previous casts, but Robin Lopez is not the greatest post defender. I could see Zion, if they want to, going after him. Yes, Robin Lopez is taller, but they could try to create an advantage.
Zion going right at... Oh, nice play there. He gets his own offensive rebound again, and he's going to go to the line. But what that was is J.J. Redick, and there is somewhat, Danny, that construction we're talking about. This is the unit where they run more stuff for Zion with Ingram out of the game. Redick sets the screen. Robin Lopez can't get through that screen, and that gets Zion with a head of steam to the rim.
And yeah, I mean, it could have been possible to switch that, but I don't think the Bucks wanted to, so that creates the situation where the small, I believe was Connaughton, didn't particularly want to, reacted a little bit late, and that gave Zion the seam. Though because Giannis is amazing, he was there for help. And that's why Zion missed the first shot.
Yeah, Zion and Giannis's free throw shooting both have come under scrutiny so far here. 5-point lead. Brook Lopez has returned for his brother. Zion trying to deny Giannis. Now it's Bledsoe off the screen. They have to help. Oh, nice veer back. Holiday again. And then Bledsoe picks up the foul. Man, Drew Holiday, I mean, those hands are just incredible.
And I sincerely hope that we get to see, in the next year or two, we get to see Drew Holiday in a meaningful playoff series, because the way that he can disrupt an offense is great, and it's just not the teams he's been on for the most part.
Oh, Zion missed Redick, who couldn't believe it. Now they go pick and roll with Drew and Melli. Drew missed him. There's that overhelp from Korver. He came off a heart, took it away. Could not get it to Melli, who was wide open. Giannis attacking Drew, cuts him off beautifully. Back out Bledsoe, right back into the post, Giannis. Giannis finding Korver in the corner, and that was a bad decision for Melli. They got lucky. Connaughton with the offensive board. Bledsoe wide open. He'll attack. Nice job by Melli cutting him off. Inside Giannis, and he's hacked.
And when a player has the size advantage there like Giannis does, there's going to be a presumption if they get bumped that it's a foul on the defensive guy because Redick can't contain him.
Yeah, and I thought Redick actually missed a chance to take a non-shooting foul there.
Yeah.
Because once the ball is in the air, J.J. Redick is not stopping him, so you might as well just grab him at that point while the pass is in the air before you can even get it and shoot it. Giannis missing the first free throw. One thing that we've seen a little bit of late, even though Giannis's efficiency has been down a little bit, is he's able to take more mid-rangers around the foul line, fadeaways from 13 feet, and that's really, to me, a very important shot in his arsenal that could allow them to go to him more at the end of games.
Yeah, in some ways similar to Kawhi.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to have that level of touch, but if he can just make that shot semi-regularly, I think it's important. Here we see Zion, Lopez not biting on it. A small screen for him. Zion on the baseline.
That was awesome.
And once again, it's the small man setting the screen that gave him just enough of an opening. Here's Bledsoe going baseline. Stopped by Redick, of all people. And it'll become New Orleans ball. Good defense by J.J. Redick, keeping with Bledsoe. He read the reverse well.
And Zion's agility and body control could be such an important tool for him against centers that he can try to create space more out of thin air.
Nice shot by Middleton getting through some screens. Hart fading into the right corner. Hits the three. Nice shot by Josh Hart off the screen from Melly.
Yeah, I thought that screen was going to be to set up Melly for a pick and pop. Instead, it was Hart.
Here's Giannis going at Zion and scores. I mean, Zion did well to cut off the initial penetration, but then that beautiful Euro step. Here's Zion faking. Oh, what a move. But he blows the layup. Giannis affected him just at the end there.
But that's a nice counter.
Oh, absolutely. Now here's another deep post up, and they have no choice but to foul. Once again, they let him make the catch, go up with it, and that time he makes him pay with the N1.
And Drew Holiday actually nearly stripped Giannis on the last possession. He couldn't strip it fully from Giannis, but when he has to really do more post-up defense, it's just too much. And that's a part of why I was a little bit less enthused with Holiday guarding Durant the last time the Pels played the Warriors in the playoffs, just because even though he was their best option for KD, he also can do a better job to me on smaller players.
Here's Holiday. Oh, stopped by Lopez. Holiday usually can go right through guys, but not Brook Lopez. Bledsoe, as they leave him open, Redick backed off of him, and that's probably the right play, but Bledsoe makes him pay. Milwaukee back within two. Nice cross from Holiday. Hart, Zion, catch and shoot. Not there. He's struggled from three since that initial jag when he went 4 of 4 in the opening game of his career. Korver, backdoor, fading to his left. Looks like there's a shoe malfunction with Holiday. Zion underneath anyway, and Giannis fouls him. Giannis is like, hey, where the heck was that call? And this is one thing where, against most teams, Zion's complete lack of a right hand isn't a problem. Ironically, the only time he'll go for the right hand is when he's on a dunk off of 1 foot. But against this team, he's got to learn to use his body a little bit more. He can't just jump as high as he can and get into somebody's chest and expect that it's going to work out against a Giannis or a Brook Lopez.
And after that huge flurry from three early on, I think the Pelicans' first 7 shots were from three. Now they're even, 16 and 16 twos and threes, compared to 11 threes and 21 twos for the Bucks.
3-point New Orleans advantage. Bledsoe, screen roll with Giannis. They'll switch this. Now the handoff to Korver. Rolls to the basket. Oh, man! Josh Hart, he may have to come out of the game after that one. That was ridiculous. Here's Holiday going at Middleton. Leaves it for Zion. Zion, oh, he dunks it on Lopez. Lopez just a step slow on Zion Williamson.
Well, I don't think people are used to that he moves right to left so much. I think they're just it's just a little bit of an adjustment.
Here's Giannis going at Zion again, and yet another foul. We'll see who committed this on the reach-in.
I think it's going to be Zion's first.
I mean, Zion still, he's never dealt with anybody like Giannis before. And Giannis is a unique specimen in NBA history. Zion, remember last time, right? He slid with him, cut him off, and then he beat him with the Euro step. So Zion thinks, all right, I'm going to not slide quite as far this time. And then he gets beat back the other way anyway with the spin move that covers even more ground than the Euro step does. This has been fascinating to watch, hasn't it?
It has, and also seeing the Bucks adjust to Zion too. I mean,
yeah,
it's because when you have these unusual, like kind of the freaks of the freaks, which Zion and Giannis and to an extent Brook Lopez all are, and all of them are experiencing the other for the first time. And Giannis has actually made, I think that's 6 of 7 free throws. So you have 5 of 6 or 6 of 7.
Yeah, he's having a ridiculous game so far. He'll probably get one more rest though before the half is over. Here's a 3 from Holiday, and that cashes out. They went under on him a little bit. Bucks are fine doing that against Holiday, who hasn't shot to his usual standards from 3. Oh, nice denial from Hart that time. He's got Zion ahead of the field. He's going to challenge Giannis. Oh, he's rejected.
And a great job by Giannis of jumping with Zion and knowing he had enough arm and hand to get to that shot anyway. Most guys can't.
And once again, here's that lack of the right hand, right? He's trying to go up over his shoulder.
I think there also was a foul. Giannis's right hand on Zion's left shoulder.
They're probably not going to call that though.
Sure.
Here's Melly way out, trying to create some gravity to give Zion some more of an opening. And New Orleans, for all the heroics by Giannis, leads by 7 with some really hot three-point shooting. Bledsoe tried to draw the foul. Matthews wide open as Holiday went down. Didn't see what happened to Holiday. Hart looking back to Holiday, who took his time getting across. He looks to be limping a little bit. Here's Zion going at Lopez again. He's rejected again. Zion Williamson has had 4 or 5 shots blocked now. Giannis, they load to him in transition. Backdoor Matthews. Back out. 3 from Middleton. Yes.
And Middleton, I think that's now 4 of 6 from the field for him. Hasn't taken many shots, but has been effective when he's gotten them.
2 screens for Holiday. Melly on the pop. Cut off by Giannis. Blocking foul's called. How is that a blocking foul? That's either a charge or, I think, more accurately, a no call. Yeah, I mean, that's one. I mean, should Giannis be trying to take a charge on Melly? I mean, probably not the best use of your talent, perhaps, but.
And that was a situation that you probably wouldn't change by changing the charge rule because it was so far out on the floor, whether it's your proposed reform or mine. I will answer some of your questions. Do you think Zion's offensive upside is Giannis? I don't think he has quite that level of dynamism with the ball in his hands. I think it's pretty close. But it's in that ballpark. But what Zion, I think what he has is I've talked about this before with guys like J.R. Smith about he has the potential to have a better jump shot. We don't know if it's going to be there. I like the idea of a more set three-pointer for a player like that, but we'll have to see. But I think it's lower than Giannis, but similar. I think, and there are so few players like either of them that it's a fair comp. What types of players does Zion need around him to cover up some of his defensive deficiencies? Do those players already exist on the Pels roster? I mean, you kind of have to think about the defense and the offense in concert, because one of the big problems, and we've just compared Zion to Giannis, is that you need this defensive stuff while in the back of your mind thinking these players at least need to be respected as jump shooters, and ideally a couple of them can handle the ball. So you have to think about that in the back. But you want somebody who can be a stout rim protector. I think that's an important part of it, at least for right now. Zion has not shown that part of his game. You want ideally somebody who can fight through screens and be good on ball denials, defending the one. They probably do have that on the roster. But that rim protector guy, especially if it's somebody who can spread the floor, that the Pelicans do not have. But as somebody who thinks Zion might end up as a 5, maybe you wait a little bit on that player, because if Zion ends up there, then you're looking for something different. Bjelica, Bertans, or Bogdanovic as the best fit for the Bucks. I think Bogdanovic is, for a couple reasons. With Brogdon gone, I think they need another guy who can handle the ball at moments in time in case teams forced out of Giannis's hands. Also, having more wingy defenders is better than having 4 defenders. Bertans is more of a 4, and they have the 4 and the 5 pretty damn well covered. So I would lean Bogdanovic for them, but Bertans would obviously be great.
I mean, I was just thinking about this as I was getting my water. That this is awesome, man.
It really is. I'm so happy. We when we saw this game and we realized they were hopefully both going to play it. We've been excited for 2 weeks.
I mean, 2 singular athletic forces, and Zion Williamson has never encountered this before, right? He has never encountered someone like Giannis that he can't feel like he's going to just win that matchup at the rim every single time. And to just see him no, I'm just going at this dude. And I will say this too, I think Zion is not quite as explosive now as he was in preseason and at Duke for that matter. It's improving slowly, but he's not quite there yet, even though he still has been really awesome. Here's Melly. Pick and pop is way short. Lopez, hands off. Matthews steps back, tough shot. And West, he's good for a couple of bullshit my turn shots like that.
Did they actually call the chicken wing on Ersan there, or did they give it to Melly?
No, I think they got a blocking foul. No, what do we say? No,
they called because Ersan cooked him with his left arm. I saw it right away.
Yeah. No, you're right. They did. I was still thinking about the Wes Matthews shot, but yeah. But he just 2-3 times a game he takes a bad shot. That shouldn't be his role on this team. Nice action here for Melly as they screened away, but
I do love bigs that can come off screens like that.
Oh, absolutely. Etuan Moore, good job getting his hand in the passing lane because Ilyasova was open. Here's Middleton. Quick 3 is off. Lopez keeping it alive, but it'll go to New Orleans.
And there is a value. I know Brook Lopez didn't secure that rebound. The Bucks do a great job of getting back, but just knocking the ball out of bounds and not preventing the other team from running. Especially as somebody who is firmly in support of teams moving the ball in transition as much as they can, including off of makes. You can't when the other team knocks it out of bounds.
Here's Etuan Moore, has the man on his back, floats it up, and Moore, excellent float. I didn't see a ton of contact there. But the rear view contest from Bledsoe apparently got him.
Yeah, it looked like he got him in the back of the head.
Yep, good call. Want to remind you, patreon.com/Duncan LaRue is the way to support this program and also get, as we go into the trade deadline, updated salary sheets for every team basically as soon as trades happen, and I can input it into my computer and get it out to you guys with the help of Ben. Plus we have a subscriber only podcast, 1 or 2 of those a month. Probably can actually do some gamers next week for the Patreon podcast as well. Here's Middleton fading away in the corner, and sorry for letting the promo leak into the I forgot it was only 1 free throw. I picked the wrong time to start it. Here's Moore off the Favors screen. Mid-ranger, not a good shot. Too early in the shot clock for that right there. Middleton off the Lopez screen. Pump fake, nowhere to go. DiVincenzo forced towards the baseline by Ball. Lopez way out over Favors. That's short. Rebound to Ball. Push it ahead to Ingram now. He's got Matthews on his heels. Doesn't create the shot though. Gets it right back. Attacks to the left side. Nice defense by Matthews. Ingram trying to back in over his right shoulder. What a shot, and he'll go to the line. That was really good defense by Wes Matthews, but he's still Brandon Ingram evolving into a tough shot maker.
And there is a challenging point. There's a weird parallel between Ingram and his former teammate D'Angelo Russell, where you and I are always skeptical of guys who can't always create good shots, but if you can make the hard ones, then it can work out. And incidentally, somebody else in this game could do that, and that's Chris Middleton.
Ingram has improved his free throw shooting a ton. Ben Taylor called this the greatest one-season shooting improvement in NBA history, and I'm inclined to agree with him. We did not see this coming. That was a good switch by Ingram onto Connaughton off of his man. Middleton into the post and goes baseline easily against Hart. No help came from the top. The gravity of Lopez was enough to keep Favors from helping. Ball, pick and roll, Hart, quick three. Not there. Nice box out by Lopez, and it'll be Milwaukee ball. Six-point New Orleans advantage. Zion is back. Good to see him able to play pretty close to normal minutes at this point in time. They try to screen for Middleton. Ball switching on to him. Good job by Ball taking away the shot. Middleton gets it right back. Left shoulder fade is good, though. Hopefully we'll see Giannis back again soon. I need more of this Zion versus Giannis. Ingram tells Ball to run the pick and roll of Favors. One-on-one, it's Zion going at Brook Lopez. Into the lane at the nail. Here's the step back from Ball. That's off. And Favors almost fouled, but no call is made. Middleton pulling up right over Zion. Now Zion's ahead of the field. Oh, but the pass was too far.
Was
it? Man, Zion has missed a couple of layups, but nice job by Eton Moore staying with it for the tip dunk. Yes, that was a surprising thing that just happened there. I did not see him getting it back. Now DiVincenzo tried to save it, and it's going to go to New Orleans. Zion can't believe he missed that layup. Let's see this here.
Oh yeah,
that was so sick. I can't believe he missed the layup after.
He blew his own highlight. And the kind of recognition it takes to tip that ball and have the touch to where you can get it is that most, even NBA players, may make that read on the fly with another player running between you and the ball.
Oh, nice pass, and they're going to say, no, offensive foul.
Yeah, he tried to clear out Connaughton. I think that's the right call. It is a little bit of a JJ Barea sympathy call, but it is also what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're Zion, the way you have to do that is once you're into the position you need to be in, show your hand so the guy can't flop on you there.
Should we talk about, I think we should talk about bookies.com.
We absolutely should.
One thing that'll be fun to track in this is their expert Mark Stropman has been doing really well on picks. He's at 55% on over-unders so far this year, and he's over 50% on against the spread as well. And he has a pick in this game. He had the Bucks were 6.5 point favorites, and he picked that as his choice of the day. Great game to choose, and that's one of the benefits that you get at bookies.com is they have expert analysis. You and I watch a lot of the NBA, but we have not yet learned how to transfer what we know into gambling, so you can trust people like Mark.
Yeah, and you can click through to all of their great deals with legal, regulated sports betting, or you can just get the information that they have available. You can follow at Bookies on Twitter or go to bookies.com/NBA. And of course, they have plenty of odds for the other sports as well. Let's hit some questions here. I gotten this a number of times from Jake. Do the Sixers have to think about benching Al Horford? No, I don't think so. You don't sign a guy to that type of a contract and do that. I'm not sure that he's the problem necessarily. And you got him for the playoffs to really lock teams down defensively, to cause problems.
Especially the team we're seeing on the screen right now.
So I mean, I think the offensive growing pains have been a little bit worse than expected, but they made this team for a reason, which is we're going to try and zag a little bit. We're going to try and have this incredible size and defense and be one of the greatest defensive teams of all time. And Al Horford is a massive part of that. And yeah, he's going to play a lot of backup center as well during the playoffs with Embiid off the floor. But you got to, Embiid's going to play 40 minutes a game in the playoffs. Like, you can't only play Al Horford for 8 minutes a game. Like, that's not going to work.
Right. So we got a question from Alejandro. The Sixers have an awkward roster construction and are currently 6th in the East, yet are still thought of as finals contenders. What is the pitch? The pitch is that they have insane defensive personnel. I mean, you could make an argument that it's one of the best defensive fives that we've ever seen because they have so much size and physicality and speed with that size. And they could put together 48 ridiculous minutes. The rise of Matisse Thybulle has really helped that. And so teams with that great a defense that will travel, then that can be a true game changer. This isn't relying on teams making teams making easy shots or missing easy shots. They have that, and any team with that kind of ceiling that has capability offensively is a contender.
Yeah, and you also just look at the incredibly high upside in some of the games that they've won where they've dominated very good teams. Granted, that's largely been at home. They're looking like they're not going to have home court in some of these big series, but they have looked really good. There is the upside there still with this group to me.
You're hired as president of basketball operations for the Knicks. What is your first move? We're 2 days before the deadline. Unless you just don't get any offers whatsoever, trade everything that's not nailed down. That's a veteran.
All right, Giannis is back here. Favors is matched up against him. Airball from Giannis. They ran the post up forward. Now Favors running the floor. Good pass into the corner to Moore. He can't cash out the three. Nice job by Favors getting it back, but DiVincenzo recovering the loose ball. He's excellent at that with his speed. Great job by the Pels getting back. Secondary break. Bledsoe with the finish as Giannis had walled off the help defense.
Yeah, and Zion could have pushed a little harder there, I think, and didn't get back all the way.
And that's also a play where people, Zion gets these highlight blocks, but that's sort of a run-of-the-mill rim protection play, as we're going to see an offensive foul on Ingram. But Zion has pretty short arms, and he needs to learn to use his great quickness to get his chest in front of guys and just force misses instead of going for the block that he's not necessarily going to be able to get every time. Bledsoe, pick and roll. Yes. Mid-ranger for Eric Bledsoe as the gravity of Giannis opened things up for him. Milwaukee back within 2. It's still, it's crazy, Danny. It feels like Milwaukee is killing them right now, and they're down. Pick and roll. Ingram goes into Zion. Pat Connaughton comes over, and he commits the foul. They actually pre-switched this, it looked like, and then Connaughton was in help position with Giannis behind him and picks up the foul. I'm not sure that they had exactly what they wanted to do there.
And also the difference in Zion's attacks when Giannis or Brook Lopez is there or any other Buck, because then they become a normal team as a rim protectors instead of being the best team ever.
Well, and also worth noting here, they're going Zion at center. Who's your 4 right now? Would you say it's Connaughton? Yeah, probably, right? So
yeah, it's Connaughton or Korver.
So I guess Connaughton is now guarding Zion. Is that what they're doing? I don't really understand this lineup, frankly. I thought Brook Lopez was looking pretty good. Is he in foul trouble and I just missed it?
No, he has 0 fouls.
DiVincenzo getting open once again off not even a screen. I don't know what Brandon Ingram was doing. It didn't even get screened. It just gave up a wide open 3 that he just missed. Ingram, guarded by DiVincenzo, has the size advantage. Backing down. Tipped away. Great defense. 4-on-1. Bledsoe pushing it. Ingram gets back. Giannis finishes with the left-hand flush.
Just a ridiculous trailer to have there because Giannis is going to find an angle.
Ingram, ball, swings it. Moore, his 3 from the top of the key is off. Rebound Giannis. He'll look to push it with a minute remaining. Gets ahead of steam. Oh, and it's deflected nicely by Ball.
They called the travel.
Oh, the travel.
He dropped.
On Giannis?
He jumped and hit a foot down before he passed the ball.
Yeah, that actually that call ended up hurting New Orleans.
Absolutely. And it would be great to have some form of an advantage for that kind of a situation where the mistake, the call is beneficial to the guy who made the mistake.
Zion post up on Connaughton. Help comes from Korver. Nice pass to the corner. 3-pointer more. Finally cashes one in.
And Zion saw that pass coming from a ways away, which is fantastic for a guy as young as
And he probably could have finished it over Korver anyway. But yeah, that he's made 4 or 5 passes here off of his own gravity. Nice finish there by Bledsoe. As the rim protection from the Pels, they're going with 2 bigs, interestingly enough. Here's a 3 from Ingram. That misses. Giannis looks at the clock, looks to push. He's got Korver in the corner. Oh, what a quick release from Kyle Korver, but he couldn't make it. And DiVincenzo attacking and can't finish it. So the last shot situation now for New Orleans, we can all catch our breath. Ingram directing traffic. He wants Zion to move to the weak side. Everyone's over on one side. Pick and roll Ingram and Zion. They're too late, though. Corner. Oh, they just double teamed out of the corner for no reason, and each one more. Man, he was 1 for 4 on some wide open threes. He can't believe he missed that one.
And so we head into the break 61-58 in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. Leading scorer is a tie between Giannis and Brandon Ingram. Giannis 5 of 7 from the field, 6 of 7 from the line, also 6 rebounds and 2 assists. Ingram 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 4 of 4 from the line, plus 6 in his 17 minutes.
Yeah, Zion is 3 of 13. I'm going to check out. I mean, he's missing everything basically around the rim.
Well, but he also has,
right?
Early on, he had. I think he was 1 for 6 and had 3 offensive rebounds. I think at least 2 of those 3 were on his own misses.
That's exactly right. I was just thinking about that too. One of them was that tip dunk, but the other 2 were off his own misses. But then he missed again off of those.
Yeah, so. He did. Yeah, those. I used to call those Valanciunases because he used to do that a ton back when he was on the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean 3 of 11 at the rim. I mean that's just incredible for one player in particular, and then 0 of 2 above the break 3-pointers. Overall, your shot chart. So Zion was 3 of 11 at the rim. Rest of team is 4 of 6. They are 7 of 17. 17 is actually a ton of shots to get at the rim against the Bucks, but they're not really making many of them.
Yeah, and then the Pels only 2 floaters, 2 of 2 from floater range, and then 2 of 6 from mid-range, and 10 of 26 overall from 3. But that is a great overall number. But remember how on fire they were early, so they've been working their way back to earth after a strong start.
Yeah, and if you want to go back to this feeling that Milwaukee is outplaying them, they're at 40% from 3. Milwaukee's at 21%, and Milwaukee only trails by 3.
Right, and the possession game in this game has been pretty even. New Orleans has 1 more offensive rebound. I think they have a team one as well, and then turnovers is 9 even. So both teams have that. Milwaukee does have the advantage in transition, but that's also because they're a way better transition defense than the Pels. The Pels transition D has been pretty bad in this game.
Yeah, and overall, not a ton of offensive rebounding for the Pels. They've only got 5, 3 of those by Zion. Bucks do a great job of walling off the paint for offensive rebounds in addition to not fouling and not giving up a ton of shots at the rim. Overall, crazy fast game, 58 possessions for New Orleans. And so despite that 61-58 score, not amazing. Only a 105 offensive rating for New Orleans, 102 for Milwaukee. Anything else stick out to you from a stats perspective here? Are you doing a little research?
Yeah, somebody asked a question that I became interested in the answer, and when I become interested, I get focused.
All right, well, I will continue to talk.
I'll be ready.
Pat Connaughton, dunk champion. No, I think he's... I mean, you never know because guys can just miss dunks, but I would put him as solid. I don't know what Howard is going to look like, but my massive favorite is Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah, Derek Jones or Aaron Gordon. I think those are the top 2 in either order. Somebody asked, so this was the question. Somebody asked if the Sixers, their starting closing 5 has been great defensively. The answer is hell yes. Defensive rating 97.2 when those 5 players have been on the floor together this year. And that's per Cleaning the Glass, 504 possessions so far. So yes, that idea of their ceiling being that good, it's legit.
Could the Pels benefit from someone like Dedmon? Yeah, that would be interesting.
Absolutely.
That would be interesting. I mean, he's starting to play a little bit better.
And if the Pels feel the way that I do, that they'd be better off not using cap space this summer and just maybe retaining Favors if he's willing to sign a 1-year deal. Yeah, I think that could be try to move. Maybe they could use the Darius Miller walking trade exception to get Dedmon, and maybe they even get a small asset back from Sac for taking on that money. I think that's a good fit.
How much do you think Dylan Brooks gets this offseason? I mean, it really depends how he plays the rest of the year and how well Memphis plays. But I mean, I think I'd put 15 million a year as the floor the way he's playing right now.
The offer sheet challenge for Brooks, and maybe he just gets it from Memphis. We've seen that before. Maybe it's kind of like Mason Plumlee and a few other guys, but there aren't many teams with more than mid-level money, and one of them is his own team. So that becomes a challenge of leverage, and if the Hawks in particular see Dillon Brooks as more of a 2, and they aren't interested in pairing him with Herter, maybe the market just isn't there. I think 15 as the floor in the abstract is fair. It wouldn't shock me if he got less than that.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the approach is from. It's been a very realpolitik Memphis front office so far. Are they going to continue to take that approach, or are they going to buy into the small market, feel good, we got to reward guys, Denver approach, which, it's been pretty darn successful for Denver, but are they going to say, no, we are going to need all of this money in the future and we're going to squeeze them as hard as possible or not? I mean, I think we could see a very incentive-laden deal as well. That could help bridge the gap. We've seen a fair amount of that so far in some of these contracts for young players. Yeah, they're showing that incredible play on Josh Hart again.
What about Miles Turner for the Pels? Sure. The problem for those two teams is just coming to terms in the season. I mean, Miles Turner is an important part of the Pacers' success, and I talked about this before about the idea of not knowing what Zion's ideal role is defensively. I mean, right now he's not doing anything defensively, and if you get Miles Turner right now, that is a commitment to a very specific concept of Zion, and whereas Dedmon, let's say, is not that kind of a commitment because you can just walk away.
Yeah, Danny, part of why I think the number could be higher for Brooks and David Adele, sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right, David, but suggests Brooks to Atlanta. He just plays that position with shooting and defense. Everybody wants him, and he's young, right? So
there just aren't that many teams. Maybe he gets that offer from Charlotte. That could be a team that could.
Charlotte, Atlanta, the Knicks, Cleveland needs a.
Cleveland, we'll see how much money Cleveland has.
Desperately, they got like $25 million.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, I'm not predicting it'll get to the offer sheet stage, but
I think is a distinct possibility.
But I think 15 million is the floor the way he's playing right now, and it could be even higher. I mean, you do see some anchoring on just guys who are second round picks. It just but
and we might see that on Bogdanovich too.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if Memphis offered him the full Josh Richardson right now, 4 years, $51 million, he wouldn't take it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Bricklayer Joe asks, Zion's defense, he looks a little lost off the ball. Yeah, his defense has been bad so far, and basically every single time I've seen him. He's had a couple little highlight plays, but he's, the possession-by-possession stuff, it just isn't there yet. And coming into your first NBA season halfway through, it's not a huge surprise because there's so much to learn. I mean, I did separate conversations with Damian Jones and Festus Ezeli, and they both talked about how being big in the NBA defensively is such a gigantic adjustment, and Zion is kind of doing a lot of different things at once. So it's not a surprise to me, but you'd like to see a little bit more. Actually, a lot more, ideally.
Will Guillory had this, that Zion didn't shoot worse than 44% in any game he played at Duke last year. Worst he shot this season was 54%, and he's 23% in the first half.
That's what the Bucks do.
I do expect that to get a little bit better in the second half. But yeah, it is what the Bucks do. Can Zion get his full explosion back, or can the meniscus tear permanently affect him slightly? Oh, sure. Yeah, it absolutely could. I mean, especially if he gained a little weight. Maybe it doesn't happen until he has a full off season to train. But sure. No, I mean, I think it's, you just what?
Here's an interesting question.
Yeah.
So not counting this year, 2021 and beyond, Zion and Luka combined MVPs or Giannis MVPs?
Not counting this year?
Not counting this year.
I don't think Zion will ever win one.
I'm going Giannis just because he's done it for a full season once, and he's probably going to do it again. And that's often the way MVPs work, is that like once you get to that level, then you're in the mix every year. That's no guarantee that he will win it every year. But also remember that the Harden, Curry, LeBron class might be aging out of strong regular MVP candidacy. And since Giannis has already established himself at that level, and we also have a pretty good confidence that he will be on very good teams. I mean, the Bucks, if he stays there, they're going to be competitive. And if he goes somewhere else, I have reason to believe that they're going to be competitive too. And the Mavericks, they aren't at that same level yet. The Pels aren't there yet. So I'm gonna go with the bird in the hand instead of the two currently in the bush.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Let's see here. Pearl Jam's favorite player was Mookie Blaylock. Who is your favorite non-superstar player from the 90s?
I didn't fall in love with basketball until the aughts, but I remember enjoying Mark Price. Maybe it's because he was like the most similar to my build that was actually kind of successful as an NBA player. And there is a part of that you want to see somebody like you who's like not super athletic and can. I couldn't shoot like him, obviously.
I'm trying to think of who I really liked as a kid at the time.
I mean, I enjoyed Stacey Augmon is that era, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed Stacey Augmon.
Yeah, he was drafted in 1991. Yeah, I mean, I do own an Augmon jersey after all, but he couldn't shoot it all, which was kind of a bummer. I mean, it's hard for me to remember like what my mindset was back then of like who I was really into. Yeah, I really liked. Oh, I know, Tim Hardaway.
Oh yeah, Tim Hardaway was great, and I watched a lot of him because he, when I watched basketball, it was often the Warriors, and he was here for a while.
He also had you remember on first it was Lakers versus Celtics, then it was Bulls versus Blazers, as like the Sega Genesis video game, and so Tim Hardaway had this like all the superstar players had moves where like if you just got to a certain spot and hit the shoot button, they did like some unstoppable move every time.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tim Hardaway's was like that sick between the legs crossover, and so I loved that. So yeah, Tim Hardaway would probably be the guy. Golden State Tim Hardaway. I mean, I really more loved him because of that video game than even like getting to see that many games of him on the living in Chicago at the time.
I was more an NBA Jam person than a Bulls versus Blazers, but I did play it at least a little bit. But my favorite player in NBA Jam was Reggie Miller, who was a superstar, so I can't say him.
Which teams were you guys fans of growing up? Bulls. Grew up in Chicago.
I was not a basketball fan at all. So no one.
Dave Corzine. No, God, I hated Corzine so much. That was really bad. Just couldn't jump. All he did was rebound. Couldn't defend. Shot like 41% from the field as a center. Just was he was a disaster.
Will there ever be a worthy Dutch successor to NBA All-Star Rick Smits? Shout out to my favorite NBA Jam combination. I mean, odds are yes, at some point. I mean, we have a Finnish NBA player now, which is pretty awesome. So sure, might be a while though.
What kind of draft compensation would Masai Ujiri be worth to the Knicks? I mean, it all depends on how long he'd be willing to stay and how much autonomy he would have. I mean, if you could tell me that...
Well, if he's willing to go there, then I think they've probably already figured out that stuff.
Right, but I mean, but like I'm just saying is like, just a straight up trade, right? Like you could just say, Masai for sure is going to stay there for the next 10 years and he's going to have full autonomy. Like, what is that actually worth in terms of draft picks as opposed to having some other crappy replacement GM and Dolan? I mean, if you could assure me that Dolan, like, would stop messing with the team, I mean,
at least two firsts.
Yeah, I mean,
at
least two firsts, right? When was the last non-player trade?
Doc Rivers, right?
Scott Perry.
Oh, you're right.
I think it was,
and that's why. And the teams were banned from trading with each other for like a year, which was sad because those kings and those dicks could have done so much nonsense.
Would I ever return to my Bulls fandom? No, I think really the last year that I would say I was actually rooting for them was maybe like 14, 15.
Yeah, and for me, it's been kind of nice that I've because I originally covered all the sports, but I moved into basketball only where I didn't have a team, and so I was able to retain my Niners and Giants fandom, and that was easy to reconcile. It ended up being very lucky.
How many hours a day do you consume basketball content? I probably spend at least, I mean, during a work day, I usually Fridays and Saturdays, I might watch a game or two, but I try to take those off to just have at least somewhat of a normal weekend, or I might go on like a ski trip during the winter or something for those 2 days, or like see some friends at night. But on a normal work day, and obviously during the playoffs is different, trade time is different. On a normal work day, I probably spend like 3 or 4 hours reading, and then 3, 4, 5 hours watching games. And then there's also recording and preparing to record, just overall doing research, watching film, etc. So I mean, it's probably like a 9-10 hour day overall, something like that, I would say.
That's about right. Mine
maybe more than that.
Mine's a little less in terms of those elements because I also write, and so
Yeah, I mean, you are the one person in the NBA media I can definitively say works more than I do. And I mean, I do say like definitely like someone like Zach Lowe or like Woj or something, like they're working harder, I would think, than I am, especially during like the trade deadline, because they're spending all this time talking to sources and they're writing. But I think in terms of just trying to do as much as I can to learn about the game and like form a basis for opinions, I'm guessing that I'm right up there with among the most dedicated in terms of just like actually trying to learn more about basketball.
But unfortunately, you just don't watch any of the Pacers. So.
Yeah, that's a problem. Do you ever get burnt out with basketball? Nah, not really, because I got like 2 months off during the summer.
Every once in a while I hit the wall for like a week or so, and then but that's the All-Star break really helps with that, and I try to get away entirely now, and that I really appreciate.
I mean, I get like physically just tired and like need some sleep, but as far as just like not being interested,
it happened in Knicks Cavs like last night or 2 nights ago, whatever that was.
There is that fadeaway jumper from Giannis that we were talking about, but he missed it. They ran the play for him to start the half. 3-point advantage for the Pels. Zion trying to post up on Lopez. Spin move, baseline. Tries to find Favors. No space. Hook shot. Not there. And there you can see a little bit the clunkiness of having Favors on the floor with Zion. Bledsoe's 3 is off. Could have tied it. Ingram looking to push it after a nice offensive first half. Favors flips it back to him. They go under. Ingram doesn't want the 3, and they're going to call a hold here on Middleton as he tried to navigate the screen. Ball receives the pass back. They're trying to get Drew Holiday here. Rips through. Lopez reacts, and they're going to get a foul on him. Or is this just
I think they're just calling it out of bounds.
Yeah, they are. Holiday seems to be a little bit of a man without a country now offensively as he grabs Wes Matthews, throws his arm out of the way, and is called for the foul.
They've been calling that pretty actively both directions in this game, and I'm fine with that. I mean, offensive players using that kind of method to get an advantage. I mean, that was pretty tepid because they were grabbing each other, but still, conceptually.
Bledsoe gets a nice screen from Giannis. Good separation. Tried to alley-oop, but that was a good, smart pass. Giannis recovers, and he'll go to the line. I like that thought there from Bledsoe. The pass just wasn't quite high enough and hit the rim.
I hope they don't call that a missed shot because that was a pass. It was an inaccurate pass. And it is interesting, Giannis and Brandon Ingram, due to a stagger, both players who led their team in scoring were both positive in plus-minus in the first half.
So another question about pausing. Can I pause your commentary and put it behind live a few seconds? Yes, go to YouTube, our YouTube page. that has been tweeted out from @NateDuncan NBA periodically here, and YouTube has a pause button. Also, I would just say, hey, whatever your medium of choice is, set an alert for us. You can do that pretty easily for whenever we go live. Get a push alert, and you'll never miss one of these. Zion attacking Giannis again. 3 from Ingram is deep. Not there, though. A little short. Rebound Giannis ahead. Bledsoe running the floor. Oh, he just went right past Lonzo Ball, who did not get back. Yeah, Lonzo and Bledsoe were even, and Bledsoe just beat him. Pick and roll, Holiday. Ball up top. He's been quiet since those 3 threes early on. Steps in. Zion! Oh, he almost dunked it on the head of Giannis, and he'll go to the foul line. Man, Zion just has such a nose on the offensive glass that Giannis never moved to box out, and Zion just met it at the rim. And Giannis is lucky not to get his head dunked on.
Zion in the first half, 3 of 13 from the field, missed both of his threes, but did make 4 of 6 free throws. And this makes me, I'll be interested to see the next time, and I don't even know if it's this year, I'm guessing it isn't, that these teams play again, to see how his approach changes. We'll probably see some adjustments in the second half, but there aren't that many teams like the Bucks for him to adjust to. Maybe the Sixers.
Yeah. Screen for Wes Matthews, and said they hand off. Middleton stepping back for 3 and drains it. That is just his ability to do that. That's just such a hard play to deal with if you're not switching. Here's Ball. Nice lead to the corner. Ingram goes in and dunks it on Lopez. What a pass from Lonzo Ball there. Ingram wasn't even thinking of cutting, and Ball just put it out into space for him. Nice play there. Ingram on 18 points now. Giannis, guarded by Favors, just goes right at him. Spin move, fake, and yet another foul as Giannis will go to the line.
And I believe that's Favors' second, so he's not in a ton of foul trouble. We worried about that when he committed an early one, but that's the second. Or did they give that to Ingram? Oh, nope, they gave it to Favors, because Ingram does have 3 fouls. I missed him committing his third, I guess.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of comments about just the Iguodala situation and the morality of he's getting paid to not work. Well, you are what you can do and negotiate.
Well,
he doesn't want to do it, and he has ways to do it.
And
so
not only that,
to him.
the two sides agreed to it before. That's just the way things work.
Now, I don't know if it's a matter of some consternation of whether they agreed to he can only get traded to certain places.
No, but the idea that he's not playing for them.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Bledsoe got surprised by the pass. Here's Ingram coming in on Giannis, and he did well to shield it off and dunk it down, even though you couldn't see it at all from that ridiculous low camera angle. Giannis, his first 3 of the game, goes down over Favors.
And that's the Bucks giving them the lead.
Ball attacking quickly, caught under the rim, finds Holiday, attacks, leaves it. Favors did not handle the pass cleanly, and Lopez deflected it. Matthews looking for Giannis in the post against Zion. Zion's not being physical enough against him. And Giannis scores over him easily. Zion has pretty quick feet. What he's got to do there when he turns and faces is get his chest right into Giannis's chest and not let him back down. Here's another 3 from Zion. Not even close.
And you've talked about his shorter arms. How much smaller Zion is than Joel Embiid, who that's somebody who Giannis is actually moves around.
Oh, nice job there.
Got him in the air.
Bledsoe getting Zion in the air. And, the Eric Bledsoe 14-footer, maybe not a shot you should be that concerned about where you're jumping at a pump fake. Yeah, so back to Iguodala. He's able to get away with it because he just has the leverage to do that.
Yep.
So why shouldn't he take advantage of it? He doesn't want to go there. He doesn't want to go away from his family.
And he doesn't want to put the miles on his tires. He doesn't probably have that many left.
But and it's okay, is that not right? There's plenty of times where teams are forcing players to play for way less than market value. So, to me, whatever you can negotiate, whatever you can do within the rules, more power to you if you can do that.
But at the same point, I am totally fine with the Grizzlies players being bothered by it and aggrieved. They can be as angry as they want. That's completely fair. But there doesn't have to be a wrong and a wronged party here. It's just the way things turned out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see why it would really annoy people in Memphis if he didn't want to go there. But, I mean, here's the other thing, too. Like, the Grizzlies probably didn't want him around anyway, right? Like, he was going to just, like, make them win more games than they wanted, in theory, at the beginning of the year. He was going to take playing time away from some of their young guys. He wasn't going to be happy there, most likely. So, you know, he's like, not only is he supposed to come in and play, but he's supposed to, like, be this awesome veteran leader and stuff. I mean, that wasn't... Now,
no, and look at the way that transaction happened. They acquired him with those assets more as it in many ways functioned as a salary dump when the mechanics of the trade itself, and so that made it more tolerable for this to be the result.
Let's talk a little bit about bookies.com, which gives you the information that you need to slay online bookies. They allow you to click through for the best deals for legal, regulated sports betting in your state, should it be legal. And you also can get information on what all the best odds and parlays and what are some of these other betting things?
Spreads, money lines, totals, parlays.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. And also having it because there are different outlets, and the different outlets have their own evaluators that can sometimes have different lines. So if you think the over on Bucks Pelicans is going to be great, maybe it's different at a different legal sports book. And so you can get the best number that you can that increases your chances of winning, or you can get a better payout, whatever it's going to be. And so having a live updating page, which you can get at bookies.com/NBA, is a great resource. And with their sign-up deals, that all ties in together to get you the best information, and then also having the analysis of people like Mark Stratman. So it all fits together as a great resource for those of you who are over 21 and want to make legal sports bets. Sorry, 21 and over.
Yes. So another thing we got to tell you about too, thanks for the comments. So remember this, we're doing Bucks Sixers 2 on Thursday. You're getting a second cast this week, and we are doing it on the NBA's official Twitch channel. So this is actually in concert with the NBA. We're hoping to just keep banging on the door enough that we can actually make this more of a regular thing with the NBA, do some content with them, and then of course eventually actually do this over the game all in the same window, so you can have our commentary with the game. That's pretty cool.
So the difference there is we will not be on any other channels. It will be twitch.tv/NBA, and we will be just there, but the format of the show will be very, very similar to this. We'll be answering questions. We'll be doing live commentary on it, and having your support, being there, fostering a great comment structure would be wonderful for us. Makes a big difference.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of why they wanted to have us back, because the questions were so good and the discourse was so civil. Also, they do delay it pretty well for us. As here's a steal. Zion, they tried to set him up at the foul line to attack, and he just lost it. Bledsoe with the shark move. Lonzo, again, he's been quiet since early on. Ingram attacking into the lane. I thought he might have traveled. He gets Lopez in the air, and he'll go to the line.
And
see if he
Lopez,
drags this back foot here.
Lopez usually does such a good job of not committing unnecessarily there, but he respected Brandon Ingram's pull-up, I guess.
And I take it back. He did not travel.
Yeah, Lonzo had those 3 threes early on and has not made a shot from the field or from the line since then, though he does have 8 rebounds.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him pushing it quite as much here in the third quarter, as Ingram missing the first free throw. Milwaukee has surged ahead. This is a critical time in the game now for New Orleans. Giannis just went out of the game for a couple of minutes. I had no idea why that happened. Maybe he just had to use the bathroom or something, but he's back in now. Ingram 1 out of 2 to pull New Orleans within 7. Middleton looking for the cross screen. Giannis, good early pass. That time Zion made a great play. Giannis with the pass, though, to set up Wes Matthews. That was a great pass from Giannis. I like the help instinct by Zion coming over. We haven't seen him affect a ton of plays at the rim yet, but Giannis with a great pass. Ball eschews the step back three, tries to work into the lane, and Lopez with a great job sloughing back onto Favors to take that away. Matthews feeling it, left corner. Oh yeah, Bucks by 11 all of a sudden. 2 straight 3-pointers from Wes Matthews, and New Orleans could be in trouble here. They're going to take a timeout.
This is a 23-7 run to start the second half in favor of the Bucks. And remember what we talked about at halftime. When two teams are close and there is a dramatic difference in terms of how many threes they're making, it's a pretty decent bet to think that it's going to turn the other way. Also, Mark Stroutman thinking that it was the Bucks 6.5-point favorites was good. It's looking a whole lot better right now.
Long live Stroutman.
Long live Stroutman. 55%, baby. Would you trade Demarcus Cousins and Dudley for Demarre Carroll, or would picks need to be involved? I wouldn't. I think that Dudley I think has more potential. Carroll hasn't. It's not like he's shown much to inspire me. If Demarre Carroll had a better year, but then if he had a better year, then the Spurs probably wouldn't be trading him for expiring money. So that's a tough one to make it work. Which game are we doing on Thursday? We are doing Bucks Sixers. It will be awesome.
I won't be tuning in if it's Twitch only. They actually put it on a delay, so it might still work for the streamers. And in fact, they worked with people in the comments to try to get it on the right time so it would work for people and be behind the game even if they were streaming. The NBA can have the stream with the game along with their broadcast. No, they can't, because the actual broadcast partners have the rights to that right now. So
that's why you can't. That's why you can't watch games in the NBA's app that are on national TV. It's the same basic idea.
Yeah, I mean this is baby steps, right? We're trying to build up some trust with them. We're trying to hopefully maybe do some league pass games like happened for a couple of other influencers last year, and that maybe even it'll take till the next TV contract. But again, this is a long play, and we appreciate you guys supporting us with the patreon.com/Duncan LaRue, and to just make it worthwhile so we can do this and we still make a little money off of it, not a ton, but some. And maybe at some point, we can get to where there won't be this barrier for entry. And we really appreciate you guys overcoming what is a large barrier of entry to watch the game on mute with us. We realize that's not ideal to not be able to hear the sounds of the game either. So thanks for your support is what I'm ultimately transitioning into.
Absolutely. Somebody asked for how to spell Mark Stroutman's name. It's MarkStrotman, and his Twitter handle is @MarkStrot. Mark Strot.
Yeah, I've never met him before. Next time I go to Chicago, I should try to go to a Bulls game and say hello. He's taken. Although I was noting on the last episode that it might be better to just have him always remain this mythic figure. We have so
never meet your hero, Nate.
Right, exactly. We have so few of these now. We don't have any more idols in sports media. We need Stroutman.
Just a second, I'm looking up because somebody said the Rockets are on pace to shoot 53s. Yep, they're on pace to shoot 53s in this game, and they're trailing the Hornets by 3. I'm not ready for the hashtag yet. It's still early.
Just catching up on a couple of tweets here, but we're back. So yeah, it's back to Connaughton guarding Zion Williamson with Giannis out of the game, and a mid-ranger gets New Orleans back within 11. Ingram came off the screen from Zion, got Connaughton in the air, and lasered it in from the foul line. Here's Bledsoe. Alley-oop. Lopez. Beautiful job. And Drew Holiday was the low man on Middleton, and he never reacted to take away that alley-oop. Ball. He's passed up a couple of shots here and then was not in rhythm for that 3.
And something to always watch with Lonzo. It's not always about how many he makes, but how many he turns down.
Yeah, and he has turned down quite a few here. They throw it ahead. This time Lonzo will take it. Way short. Oof. 2 in a row he's missed. He's a little upset with himself. He's got to get back into it, though. Middleton, they set that screen away. Bucks love that as part of their secondary break. Here's Middleton. Pull up. Mid-ranger is short. Rebound. No, it's back to the Bucks. Oh, wow. Matthews from way out. Drains it. Wes Matthews, 3 straight 3-pointers. Milwaukee by 16. Favors as Zion tries to duck in, and the pass was off. And, I mean, it was clairvoyant. It wasn't hard to be clairvoyant. The Bucks were shooting it horribly, 4 of 19 from 3 in the first half. Pels were shooting it well. That is switched. And the Bucks were really outplaying the Pels outside of that. And
also some serious feedback loops here. The Bucks defense has gotten more stout, and they've gotten easier stuff in transition. And the Pels transition defense has been bad.
Yeah, I mean, some pretty awful turnovers from the Pels, too. Here's Bledsoe. Yo-yo dribble. Oh, what a move. But Favors was able to affect the shot just enough.
We've seen so many guys wreck their own highlights in this game.
Holiday, another turn down 3. I mean, they probably want to take those shots. Now he's going to try and go at Lopez off the switch. Lopez, a pretty good switch defender. Holiday steps back, and see, he just ended up taking a harder shot than the one he turned down. Now they throw it ahead. Lopez able to corral it.
Oh, what a pass!
Oh,
Is that
man!
the best pass of Brook Lopez's
Woo! Beautiful look. 18-point game. It might be, Danny. It really might be. Here's Hart, who's an excellent finisher, into the chest of Lopez. New Orleans on the ropes, so now here's Giannis. Deep post up against Holiday. Help has to come here. No, he settles for the fader and scores. I mean, if Giannis Antetokounmpo can make that shot with any kind of regularity, to me, that's even more important than the three-pointer that's been ballyhooed. Favors. Stopped by Lopez and Giannis. Swing it out. Ingram, three-pointer. Yes. And that, to me, Danny, is a great example of what this Bucks scheme actually is, right? Favors, he's pretty much shut down by Brook Lopez, and yet Giannis comes down there and double teams as well. Here's Lopez feeling it after that pass. So Giannis goes and double teams even when Brook Lopez kind of has him. Most schemes would say, hey, Brook Lopez got him pretty good. Stay on the three-point shooters. Take that away. Favors mid-ranger, and it misses. 15-point advantage. Middleton swings it. Bledsoe feeling it. That's off. Giannis underneath, and Holiday can do nothing but tip it out of bounds.
It's going to be a team rebound. Yeah, and we've seen the possession game. I talked at halftime about how it was pretty even. Now, offensive rebounds are still pretty close, but then it's 14-10 in terms of turnovers. So I think it's a +4 for the Bucks in this quarter alone.
Lopez will get a break. We don't see Robin Lopez come in. We're going back to Giannis at center instead. That's interesting. Why do you think they're not going back to Lopez?
Maybe they're trying to generate some more reliable offense, but I mean, I think they should go with Robin. Might as well.
Yeah.
Or go with DJ Wilson. Just dust him off.
Yeah. No Ilyasova either. I think they just like the look of that. Here's Giannis. Nice move against Melli. I think they just want to really get Giannis going in the post here without Favors in to guard him and space it out around him. Redick, nice fake on Connaughton. He had the scouting report on Connaughton.
Was there anything more certain than JJ Redick pump faking Pat Connaughton into the air?
Yeah, Connaughton, if you don't remember from our broadcast last spring, every three-pointer, he's going to jump as high as he can off of 1 foot. Giannis reacts to Redick. That leaves Hart open for the three. He didn't have his feet set. Push ahead to Matthews. He's going to shoot this.
And this lineup doesn't have a lot of ball handling either. Like they put a lot on Giannis' shoulders with it. No Bledsoe, just not as much to. I mean, DiVincenzo can do some stuff, but not much.
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting look with going with Connaughton at the 4. And it does highlight that one thing that I think the Bucks could use in addition to, I think their number one need is one more pick and roll guy in the half court for when things really break down. I think Bogdanovich would be my number one target for them. But the second guy they need is just someone who's like a true kind of small ball 4 who can also switch and shoot the ball. Like I would like a Marvin Williams there, although I'd like a little more defensive versatility. But someone who can guard a LeBron or a Kawhi as well and shoot the ball. Well, so Marcus Morris might be a good one, though he doesn't quite buy into the Bucks ball movement scheme as much.
Not quite.
see if there's anything important on Twitter.
What do you think the market is going to be for Gasol and Ibaka? There aren't a lot of cap space teams where those two fit in their timeline. I agree with you. I think they could. I've talked about this with Danilo Gallinari as well, though Gallinari is on a team that might be more willing to use his bird rights, and if he gets traded, that could be true. I think it could be tough sledding for them, and also with Ibaka and Gasol having made so much money in their careers, it wouldn't shock me if one or both of them took significantly less to be on a team that had the role they liked.
All right, we're back live here now, setting the screen for Giannis along the baseline. Holiday fronting him. They get it into him. Where's the help going to come from, if anywhere? Giannis with the spin baseline. And you know why that worked, Danny? He got him with the fadeaway jumper last time. He just subtly faked that fadeaway. There's a missed layup from Holiday. Push it ahead again. Let's see if they go right back into the post to Giannis here. Matthews tries to draw the foul on a comical flop, but he will at least draw the non-shooting affair.
Yeah, I think Josh Hart was a little bit overzealous trying to blow up that action. But yeah, I hope he didn't hurt himself.
Well, yeah, with the ridiculous flop. Yeah, I guess what happened was he jumped and Hart just ran underneath his leg. Hopefully he's all right. Ball returns. Holiday leaves. He has not had the strongest game offensively. Here's DiVincenzo on the drive. Floats it up. Foul. And good recognition from DiVincenzo. They're about to run a play where Giannis is going to try and get into the post and screen for Korver. And DiVincenzo saw that everyone was preoccupied with that and he could get to the basket.
And something to think about, I'm guessing we'll do more Pelicans games the rest of this year, even if they're less competitive, because they're fun to watch. But Drew Holiday is so much more destructive defensively against teams that are reliant on, especially a single guard to create offense. So, Memphis with Ja Morant is a good example. The Hawks with Trae Young. And the Bucks, that's not the way their offense is structured, and so his impact is more muted. He can do some nice stuff, getting into lanes and all that, but he just hasn't had the same defensive impact in this game. There aren't that many teams structured this way, though, so it's totally fine.
Here's Redick off a screen. DiVincenzo with a nice late close. He does a good job there. Even if you get the separation, he's fast enough to make up the ground. Here's another shot from Sterling Brown, who's just come on. Report that teams are interested in Brown per Zach Lowe. Oh, what a crossover from Ingram for the dunk. Oh, did he abuse DiVincenzo on that one? We've seen some unbelievable dribble moves tonight. Giannis looking for one more of those, and he'll go to the line. And one. Melly a bit overwhelmed.
Melly grabbed him pretty damn early, but Giannis didn't dribble, so that's a good continuation.
Of course it is. Yeah, and I think this is why Bud wanted to go with this group ultimately, where knowing that Melly was going to have to guard Giannis, and then you spread the floor with 4 guards around him. And, I mean, this is getting completely out of hand here. This is about to be a 20-point game.
I wouldn't count this free throw before it hatches.
Quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see whether it's about to be a 20-point game after the next possession. Here's Hart on the drive. Goes into Korver. I thought there was contact there. No call. Ingram recovers. Still plenty of time. And they need to get some space, though. Hart. Good help from Brown. He sprinted over, but Melly is open for a 3, and he cans it.
I believe, Melly 2 of 3 from 3 in this game. Made his first one in that one.
Yeah, a lot of shooting out there for the Pels right now, too. This is an offensive group. Ingram now is the matchup on Giannis. Throws it to the corner. 3-pointer Brown, not there. He's missed a couple of wide open ones. Good pass from Giannis, though. He recognized that Melly was creeping up towards the elbows. He threw the pass right past him. Back door. Redick not looking to shoot. Oh, the up and under on Korver. He's stripped from behind. Oh, man. That is shooter-on-shooter crime. Giannis tries to dunk it on Melly, and he missed it. Lonzo the other way. He's got Redick. Right wing 3 is good.
And we're back down to 13.
Yeah, you were clairvoyant, but now we're right back to 15. Yeah, good pass there from Sterling Brown to find a cherry-picking Giannis. Ingram does not challenge Giannis. Instead, quick movement. Ingram's 3, well contested by Connaughton. again, Connaughton, he gets these good challenges. He'll block some threes because he's going to really sell out to run you off the 3-point line every time.
And there, I think Korver was a little mad. Sterling Brown didn't see him at all in transition.
Back screen. Oh,
what a
nice
pass
by Giannis, but DiVincenzo was surprised by it. Here's Sterling Brown at Melly. Melly has made a couple plays at the rim here.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I think that was in an overtime game where Melly actually, his defense helped swing the outcome. It's one of the many. I've actually watched a ton of the Pelicans this year.
15-point game. Giannis will get a break. So did he play other? I guess he had that short.
He had that
break.
short thing where like 2 minutes early. It was like in the first couple minutes of the third quarter.
Yeah, Lopez is back in, and then they just throw it away. And now Lopez, what is he doing? Is he just mad? That was just the Russell Westbrook frustration foul there. He thought that Melly just grabbed him, and he wanted to just go complain. How many fouls is that for him?
Brooke, I think that's his first or his second, so he's fine.
Yeah. First in the last 2 minutes. Let's see if they commit another foul here, though. Melly at the elbow looking for Redick. Well contested again by DiVincenzo, but J.J. Redick going to his right. You'll take that 2. They didn't quite get the 2-for-1, depending on when Milwaukee shoots it here. Not a ton of playmaking on the floor right now. It'll probably be DiVincenzo trying to run a pick and roll late in the clock. Lopez comes up. Nice crossover. DiVincenzo into Melly. Should have got a foul call. Scores it anyway. DiVincenzo, he's got some juice off the dribble, man.
Yeah, I like him more as a secondary ball handler, but he can do things there, and maybe he develops more.
Yeah. Here's Ingram. Goes into 3 guys. Nothing there. And it'll be a 15-point Buck lead, dominating third quarter for Milwaukee. They scored 42 points in the quarter.
Yeah, 42-24 in favor of the Bucks, turning a close game into something close to a blowout. And Giannis now has 32, 12, and 4 in this one, and he's plus 19 in his 25 minutes.
All right, well, last chance here to tell the people about our sponsors, Bookies.com.
Here on the NBA Cast on Dunked On, we try to give you insight, news, and analysis, and the idea of Bookies.com is that you can use that in a different way than we do, and you can go to Bookies.com/NBA to get live odds, expert picks, and also the best online sign-up deal. So for those of you who are getting into this for the first time, you can do that through BetOnline as well.
Yeah, I think with Bookies, the other important thing is that they're actually supporting us.
Yes.
Which, there's not a lot of these kind of non-traditional shows that are sponsored, so we appreciate that. You can follow them at Bookies on Twitter or Bookies.com/NBA, or, of course, any other betting that you are interested in can be found there as well. How likely is it for my under 245 bet to hit? I need 60 points or fewer in the fourth.
I think it's pretty possible because the Bucks will probably take their foot off the accelerator if it's.
Well, I think it is helpful that Giannis probably isn't going to play. I mean, I guess that helps New Orleans offense, but hurts the Bucks offense if he's off the floor. So maybe it's a wash ultimately. Oh, hi, 6. Got more important things to attend to here.
Does Lonzo ever try a layup? Not very often. It's a one of the strongest criticisms of Lonzo is that those like aggressiveness. I call it the aggressiveness numbers, which are both free throw attempts and layups, are both very shaky for him. Has gotten a little bit better if memory serves, but not much. Would you rather have the Suns lottery protected first or Kyle Kuzma? To an extent, it depends on the protection. I actually would prefer protection this year. This draft is not regarded. And the Suns, while they could be better next year, I don't think time-related progression makes them like a sure playoff team next year. So, if you like the lottery next year, depending on the structure of the protection there. And Kuzma, for most teams, I think that he, maybe I don't know if it's because of the time he spent at Utah or whatever. Like, I don't think of him as like a key player on a really good team. And so players who are more floor raisers than value adds on good teams, I don't think I'd give up that kind of asset for. So I'd take the first. Thank you for my shirt. Compliments. It's from Redbubble, I believe. That's where I got it from.
What's my tea of choice? I'm not a huge connoisseur, but there's this place in San Francisco called Song Tea, which is awesome. They have, I think it's a Shanxi winter sprout, which I probably mispronounced, but that's probably my favorite tea.
Should the Mavs dangle the Warriors second to chase Juancho? I don't think they need to give up something that good, but I do like Juancho as a fit with the Mavericks. Absolutely.
All right, we're back here. Cat is still here.
Important part of the NBA cast.
Absolutely. Yeah, she doesn't mind when we're like yelling at the TV. 3, he's nope. Older, he's a little more sensitive. So Zion is back now, going at Robin Lopez. Pivot, yes. And there you see it, Danny. Lopez just not that great as a post defender. I think Bud put him in to deal with Zion, but I don't think that's necessarily the right guy. DiVincenzo attacking and pick and roll once more. Likes to jump off that right foot. Could not. Lopez lucky did not pick up an over the back foul. Now here's Zion accelerating at Lopez. Going into his chest. Stopped that time by Lopez. He's on the ground, but his foot was out of bounds. And that time Zion missed Melly in the corner. He's wide open in the corner. He just missed him. Going into 3 guys.
He got his eyes got a little bit wide, not seeing Brook Lopez or Giannis there. But yeah, he could have made the pass a beat early and not gotten into that action.
Cross screen for Middleton comes from Korver. Melly switching onto him. Now trying to front Middleton. Good job by Redick getting through the screen for Korver up top. Now Korver to his right. 3-pointer is short. Rebounded by Hart. Hart looks to push it. Melly just didn't run down the floor for some reason. Hart on the drive at Korver and scores. And again, good recognition by Hart. Korver is just not going to be able to stay with him physically as the guy between him and the rim.
And I like Josh Hart as an opportunistic break runner. You know, I don't think you want him to do it all the time. And remember, the Lakers a couple of years ago were encouraging him in Summer League to be more ball dominant. And that didn't bear any fruit in LA, but I still think there's a use for it on a good team.
Yeah, part of that was on Robin Lopez. If you are a big, you cannot let the ball handler accelerate past you. You are the guy. You can't just say, oh, we're back, when Kyle Korver is the guy between the rim and a layup. But Korver makes up for it coming off a screen, going to his right. He and Redick both love going to his right, although Korver is more extreme. Zion on the drive, and no, he just lost it. He can't believe he wasn't fouled.
Yeah, I think the strip attempt just got ball, and then Zion couldn't control it and went out of bounds.
Yeah, that's right. It ricocheted back off of Zion here. Yeah, clearly he wanted the foul on Korver, but I thought Korver was pretty clean.
Looked fine to me.
Yeah, and we're seeing here tonight, Danny, the lack of finishing craft from Zion at this point in his career.
And that's something that often improves for young players. We talk about it more with young guards, but it happens with bigs as well.
And a travel called on Korver as Melly did well to pressure up outside.
Yep, he pulled his pivot foot. That was a good call.
Yeah, usually the refs aren't going to be wrong when it's that clear of a play out on the floor. Lonzo, again, doesn't want that jumper. Zion going into Lopez, and that's where he's overwhelming Robin Lopez. And let's see where the foul takes place here. Yeah, so Lopez gets his hand the right hand right into the stomach of Zion. Yeah, clear foul because he's got his arms on him as he's jumping up. And maybe a little bit of a makeup call there. Zion certainly with a self-satisfied toss to the official, but can't be satisfied until you actually do more than barely graze the front rim on a free throw. Zion with the second. And not sure what's going on here at this point. Is there a lane violation? No.
Quick score update. Charlotte is up 1 on Houston at halftime, and Portland and Denver are tied early in the first quarter.
Middleton screening for Bledsoe. They switch it. Good job by Ball getting back to inside position, but Middleton has the size advantage on him now. Creating the space. Right shoulder, not there. Good rebound from the Pels. Ball looking to push it. Swing it to the corner. Redick eluding Bledsoe. Good job by Middleton with second help. They swing it. Now it's Melly in the right corner. Good ball movement from the Pels there. And they finally outstripped the rotations of the Bucks defense.
Single-digit game. But we should see Giannis coming back fairly soon.
Bledsoe behind the back. He's got Korver, missed him, instead takes the foul line jumper.
When you can just see how much less verve this Bucks offense has when Giannis isn't on the floor. They don't really have enough there, and there will be fewer of those minutes in the playoffs, but it's something I want to watch.
Zion going at Lopez. Again, no right hand, but somehow he sneaks it back and scores, and we're down to 7 here. This Zion at center group has cut 8 points off the lead in a mere 2 minutes and 34 seconds. It was gonna be so smooth of a transition, and then I blew it.
Should a rebuilding team still prioritize cap space in the summer of 2021? They could use it like the Grizzlies did this year to acquire assets for trading for bad money. I think that cap space is overrated by teams that, in wide open years, by teams that are not destinations. They can be facilitators, but in wide open years, there are a lot of facilitators. So I think it's a fair point. However, it doesn't seem like teams are too desperate to clear that space right now. I think that's going to come, but it's another factor of just the structure of contracts around the league right now. There just aren't that many contracts that are in that range where teams are just, in the $10 to $20 million range where they want to move it this early. I think we'll see those trades, but that might be more February 2021 than February 2020.
All right, here's a good question. Will D'Angelo Russell be traded at this trade deadline?
I'm still leaning towards no, but it is closer to yes right now than it has been for me at any point since they acquired him. Because there's more smoke in this than I expected. Is there a more destructive behavior by a great player than Jokic's dumb Euro frustration fouls? No.
Well, I mean, it depends how much you want to expand on that. I mean, you could say Russell Westbrook taking 3-pointers, or like if you want to expand it to, that type of stuff.
But for me, what compounds it is because he sometimes doesn't to create or when he's in foul trouble, and that it just totally nukes what the Nuggets do so well. So yeah, I'd say so. Also, is Russell Westbrook still a great player?
Yeah, it's certainly the least understandable.
It's the most frustrating for damn sure.
Yes.
Would y'all have kept Hart over Kuzma as the Lakers? I like Hart's game. So I think Kuzma, if we're talking like theoretical, like abstract ratings, I think Kuzma, you might say he's a better player than Hart right now, but I like Hart's fit with these Lakers significantly more. So yes, if it had been, and I also think they probably could have given up less if they were making that offer.
All right, I got one using the hashtag NBAcast. We're about to answer this. If you were managing the Pelicans, would you consider moving Drew for Miles Turner? He gets that it might not work straight up. This from Derek Mata. And, that's interesting, right? It probably wouldn't, Miles Turner is probably not as good of a player as Drew, but he's younger. He fits better with Zion. I would consider it, especially maybe if you get a little bit more. Now, you've already got Malcolm Brogdon and Victor Oladipo, so a third team might have to get involved. Those, more often than not, are going to be too complicated, but I mean, there really are. It's Brook Lopez and it's Miles Turner and it's who else who really protects the rim at a high level and shoots the ball.
I mean, ideally Porzingis.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Porzingis would be the guy, but I mean, they don't have the ammo to get him.
No.
Well, they probably do, frankly, but it's just not the sort of trade that's going to happen. So Giannis is back now. He's guarded by Melly. They're sticking with this group for the Pels. Middleton slowed down by Hart. Here's a drive from Bledsoe. Short. Great rebound by Josh Hart. Jumping in. That's what you want to see from your guards. Oh, what a steal from Middleton. Ball was loose at the end. I was surprised Middleton didn't pull the three there. He was open. Instead, they're going to try and reset into the half court. Looking for Giannis in the post on ball. Zion is there into the strong side zone. Connaughton, what a pass, but it was a little bit short for Lopez. Lopez's drive. Oh, and Connaughton just abused J.J. Redick with the baseline cut.
And That could have been a Caspi cut getting help in, except Redick wasn't anywhere close.
That was fantastic work from Connaughton. Redick had no idea where he was. Pels again struggling to get into something. Here's Zion against Lopez. Has the quickness advantage. Double team comes. Spin move. Good job by Lopez, and Giannis cleans up the board. And they're just against these truly elite guys as Giannis goes in for another and one, and they've had no answers. And of course, Milwaukee immediately restoring order with 5 quick points, because I'm going to count this Giannis free throw before it hatches. But you can just see here that Zion, again, there's not a lot of tricks in the bag. There's the spin back over his right shoulder. And Brook Lopez has seen that one now. He was on it that time. There's the just attack really hard and jump into the guy, as he had another missed free throw from Giannis. I jinxed him again. And I mean, this is elite competition that he hasn't faced. Redick, no spacing with Hart. Now he attacks into the lane, tries to throw up a shot, and he'll draw the foul on Connaughton, who can't believe it.
I will note that I'm immensely frustrated right now that there is a mega deal that just got announced, and it's in baseball, not in basketball.
Boring.
Ugh. Come on. Do something, people.
No, I'm good with it being silent tonight, because we weren't planning to record tonight.
I just want something exciting to happen.
Yeah, then we can get
it. Yeah, I would rather have
tomorrow. Then
I would rather, if it were guaranteed to happen, I would rather have it tomorrow than today. But I feel like there's a chance that it's very quick.
Wow, Redick, not a good free throw there from him. That's a surprise. 10-point game. Connaughton cross screening for Middleton. Now he tries to pop out top. Middleton size advantage on Hart. Fader, short. Good defense by Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart's done a pretty good job on Chris Middleton on those post-up
I would say so
plays.
too.
See who this is off. Yeah, it does appear to be off of JJ Redick. Protest though he might. Get it into Bledsoe. Gets the screen from Giannis. Bledsoe, mid-ranger over Melly, is off. Middleton couldn't keep it alive. Here comes Hart as the Bucks. You see how everyone gets back, but Hart takes the 3. Ooh, they could have used that one. Now Giannis gets it ahead to Bledsoe. 3-on-3. Bledsoe attacking Hart. Oh, what a play by Hart to knock it away. Now it's 4-on-3. Back to Melly. His 3 over Connaughton is way short. Rebounded by Ball. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Those Giannis versus Zion confrontations.
That reminds
just get the heart aflutter.
It reminds me I guess that was 2016, I saw Hamidou Diallo try to dunk on Zion at the not the Hoop Summit, at Adidas Nations, and I almost died. Like it was just one of those, like, just like, what the hell is going to happen here?
Zion missing another free throw. It's been a missed free throw contest between he and Giannis. You do think, though, like Zion, it's breathtaking when he takes off, but he doesn't really have like the length to really just like cock it back and like dunk on guys.
Yeah, but I think if he gets a little bit more of his vert back, it'll be, he'll get there.
Even in college, though, he wasn't just like dunking all over dudes, like unless it was a tip dunk.
That's true.
I mean, he's incredibly explosive, but I don't think his hands are necessarily the biggest either.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe part of why he doesn't have like the hook shot game. I mean, that's another one. Just a normal like jump hook is something that you can use. Here's Middleton going at Melly. Missed the layup. Good defense by Melly. He's not bad considering his physical tools. Ball resets. Short. Oh, Zion takes it away from Giannis and will stay right here. That was reminiscent of his play against Kevin Knox in Summer League.
Yeah, just rip. And I don't think that's a jump ball because I think Zion just straight up took it from him. I don't think there was ever like it wasn't a held ball. That should be. I think they should have called that a jump ball.
No, how? He only has one hand on it.
I thought there was a segment where he had both. Maybe I misread it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he just took it from him. Giannis still had one hand on it, but I don't know that he ever had.
Yeah, he might have gotten pulled back earlier than I thought.
What are we up to here with Zion in terms of his line?
5 of 18 from the field, but 8 of 12 from the free throw line. Now I think that's 9 of 13.
It is indeed 19 points for Zion, 4 assists, does have 4 turnovers. Bledsoe, they're trying to post up Giannis. Now he gets it against Melly, trying to drive baseline. Help comes nicely from Ball. Cut from, oh, what a pass down low. Bledsoe tries to get it up quickly after he was stripped from Ball. That was great offense and even better defense from Ball. Loop to the corner, not a good pass. Back out Melly, Redick. Run down nicely by Matthews. Ball, step back on Giannis. Off, not a great shot.
Yeah, and that was a chance to cut it to 4 or 5 points and just didn't get a good shot.
That was really good defense by the Bucks.
Absolutely.
At that time. Giannis has the speed advantage on Melly. You see guys pulling in at the elbows. Matthews will take the 3. That's the right pass, but he airballed it. But will stay right here as Bledsoe working at the offensive glass.
And in the weird twist of air balls always helping the offense, it helps the offense because the ball bounces off Josh Hart.
So 6 to shoot here for Milwaukee. Brandon Ingram is going to come back. We have not seen much of him. Favors is coming back too. Zion needs a little break. I'm sure we'll see more of him.
He's at 29 minutes.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is probably going to be a season high for him. I mean, they had it going, so I understand why they stuck with him. Giannis gets it back to Bledsoe. Underneath, it's Lopez, and he just abuses Ball. I mean, Brook Lopez, like, you just don't understand how massive that guy actually is. Ingram against Giannis. Giannis deep into a defensive stance against Brandon Ingram. Ingram drives, off balance, pump fake, shut down by Giannis. Gets it back, takes the 3. Not close. Here's Bledsoe pushing it. He's got a wide open Matthews in the corner, and that might about do it here. 12-point game now. Giannis with the great defensive stand on Ingram, and then they push it right back down. Great push from Bledsoe to set up Matthews in the corner. Lopez, another stop. Brook Lopez has just been massive at the rim tonight. Here's Bledsoe right down the lane. Easy finish, and we are just about done here. 14-point game as the Bucks restored order basically as soon as Giannis returned. And Zion being out doesn't help much either. You know, that's kind of a bummer about this minutes limit is as soon as he goes out, Pels couldn't stay with it. And I mean, as much as we've been critical of some of the lack of craft that Zion has had around the rim and the energy that he provided to their offense, they are missing that right now.
They absolutely are. Giannis is the Bucks have outscored the Pelicans by 26 minutes in his
26 points.
26 points in his 30 minutes. So that means they've been outscored by 12 in the short amount of time he hasn't played, including that run in the.
Wait a minute, are you sure about that? Zion is negative 13.
Yeah, Giannis is plus 26.
Oh,
no, I'm talking about Giannis.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about Zion.
No,
my bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Zion's negative 13.
Yeah, I mean, and this is just a ridiculous performance from the MVP, the guy who's going to be the MVP again this year. 34 points, 12 of 17. He's actually 9 of 13 on free throws. I think I've just been really paying attention on the 4 that he missed, as it turned out. And 16 defensive rebounds for Giannis as well. And, you know, I think the other thing that stood out to me, Danny, is Wes Matthews' performance tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, he got. I mean, sometimes he takes bad shots, but sometimes those work out well. And he also, to me, the more confident ones, he was actually led into it with better threes. We got asked a couple of fake trade questions. Should the Lakers trade a second and Demarcus Cousins for Reggie Bullock? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if the Lakers, off the top of my head, they don't have any good seconds. I think they only have their bad ones, and those are basically useless. So if you can get Bullock for it, absolutely. Yeah, and Bullock, a lot of times with these partial guaranteed contracts, it's more about, they don't have much guaranteed money for next year. I think that if the Lakers got Bullock, they'd keep him for next year. Like, might as well. What about the Clippers acquiring Dedmon and using him to stair-step to Favors? Well, they could just trade Harkless. Like, they wouldn't need to do a stair-step. That is only in very narrow circumstances when you can't make the salary work, and Dedmon, I think, makes less than Harkless. So I don't think they would need to do it that way. Or if, for whatever reason, those pieces wanted to be in a deal together, you just do it as a 3-teamer. It doesn't need to be a stair-step. What should Jeff Weltman do at the deadline? That's the Magic. I don't think there's much they can do. I mean, they could theoretically do something involving Aaron Gordon, but I don't really see what that would be. To me, their opportunity to really change direction happened this offseason, and they chose to stay the course. And I wasn't super thrilled with that. I don't know how their fan base feels about it. It looks like they're going to make the playoffs, but it's a kind of an uninspiring 7 seed. Do you have any other thoughts on the Magic?
Oh, man. I mean, they're just stuck in NBA mediocrity right now, right? Your options are you just continue to try to build around this group and, maybe still be a lower end playoff team, or, really try to blow it up again. But I mean, the East is so bad you can't even necessarily do that. So, I mean, I guess you just ride it out and make the playoffs this year and see what comes in the summer to maybe have a little bit more extreme surgery on this team. Favors is at the elbow now. They're looking for a brush screen for Ingram. Not there. Try to go back. Blown up by Wes Matthews, forcing Holiday baseline. His floater is way off. Great defense once again from the Bucks. And they are the best defensive team in the NBA by about 2 points per 100 possessions. You're seeing it why tonight. Here's Middleton out to Bledsoe. Attacks Holiday. Gets past him. Holiday stops him from behind again. Bledsoe thought he had him beat. He did not.
And Bledsoe way behind the play, hustling back, not there in time. Open 3, don't get though.
Yeah, Bledsoe, at least he sprinted back after he went into the cameras. So Mike Budenholzer says, hey, slow it down. Let's kill some clock here. Giannis is back on the bench now, but he'll come right back in. Middleton snakes to the foul line. That's off. Throw it ahead. Ball going to attack the rim, and he'll lay it in. Nice job there. Lonzo, he does a good job of timing his steps up on those transition catches to where he doesn't have to dribble again. Bledsoe off the screen. They go under. Snakes in again. Not getting any penetration. 8 on the clock. Now he'll engage. Floater from Lopez. And Brook Lopez, you don't see it much from him anymore, but he was a floater master back in his Brooklyn days. Behind the back from Holiday. Picked up by Matthews. Here's Ball. Quick 3 in the corner is off. And he has done very little as a scorer, as Bud's going to get a timeout to get Giannis back in the game here, but he doesn't really need him, frankly.
I think we're done here, personally. But we can say this has been a pretty damn fun game.
If Zion and Giannis are both going to be on the floor,
that's true.
I'm
that's
sticking
true.
around for it.
We'll wait to see.
Wouldn't you want to go all offense, 3-point players at this point if you're Nola? I have a different philosophy, actually, about comebacks. I think that comebacks start on the defensive end, where you try to force turnovers, get stops, and that juices your offense. If you're not getting stops, you can't possibly come back, right? So I think that's where you start, and then you hope that your defense can lead to offense. I think it's more important when you're trying to come back to do it on the defensive end first, because if you're not stopping the other team, then there's no possibility of ever coming back.
Which player do you think has changed his game the most over the last 5 years? I mean, Brook Lopez has to be on the list. I mean, he went from shooting like no threes to basically that becoming a key part of his
Well, and also, everyone would have said he was a terrible defensive player in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And now he's like, if not a defensive player of the year candidate, like he's a top 10 defensive center, to be sure.
But the actual answer is Pascal Siakam because of just how far his things have come. I mean, those 5 years weren't even all in the NBA, but yeah, it's probably Siakam.
So Holiday has the matchup on Giannis now. Now Giannis is going to go at Zion. I'm glad we stuck around for this. Ingram way off of Connaughton. They throw it to him. The drive from Connaughton. Pat
Dunk contest
Connaughton,
preview.
warm it up for the dunk contest. 40-inch vertical. Not 44. But 40. Oh, yeah, he just poked it on Holiday. They're trying to get Zion in the post against Lopez. Spins baseline. Lopez shoves him into the crowd. No call, and that forced Zion to have to throw a difficult pass. And a great job there. I think it was Wes Matthews. No, it was Giannis taking away the pass to Holiday in the corner. Yeah, 16-point game. Everyone's still got their starters out there, though. Do it for the national TV crowd. And now Giannis called for a travel.
Is now the time to mention that, oh, they're showing it!
The 44, but it's not a 44-inch vertical. For those who don't know this, I always joke about this because they mismeasured his standing reach as like
way too short.
7'9" or something ridiculously low that he just clearly isn't. Like if you go on the NBA.com combine stats page, his standing reach is crazy low, and that's how they do it. You measure the standing reach, measure how you jump, and then you subtract to get the vertical. So his standing reach being mismeasured is what led to that crazy vertical.
But he's still a very good athlete.
Yeah.
Just not a 44.
Nice pass from Giannis and
Great
pick
control.
and roll. Brook Lopez is such a big target on that roll to the basket. He generally spaces, but he's a solid roll man as well. Ingram closed down by Connaughton. Another drive. Holiday. That time they actually didn't get over for the help. One of the rare times you won't see the Bucks react to a drive. Giannis trying to attack Holiday. He's asking for a screen from Lopez to engage Zion. Lopez sets the illegal screen. He shoved Holiday right in the back. And that's actually on Giannis to some degree. He went a little bit early. Yep, absolutely. He started his move before Lopez could get stationary.
And that's a frequent mistake by both young NBA point guards and high school and college point guards.
There's Ingram with another nice drive. I think the Bucks now are focused a little bit more on taking away the three-point line. Hopefully Stroutman is going to cover here. That's the only drama left. Wes Matthews running the clock down, almost lost it. Still 10 on the clock. They get it back to Giannis, still guarded by Holiday. Pick and roll coming here. Lopez, comical screen. Pick and pops for three. That's off. DiVincenzo keeping it alive. Connaughton loads up. Off. And this game is now over. Couple of Pell's threes is all that can hurt Stroutman at this point. Ooh. So he should be good now. What was it, 6.5?
6.5.
Yeah. Another amazing performance from the Bucks.
They're now going to go to 43-7.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not a bad basketball team.
I mean, I think this was actually on bookies.com that they had lower championship odds than the Lakers and the Clippers. I mean, that's completely insane. I realize they might have some weaknesses in the playoffs, but it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see whether this team is really that good. I expect that they will completely crush anyone in the East playoffs outside of Philly, and the way Philly's going, they might not even have to play Philly at this point.
Yeah, especially if Philly falls to like the 6.
All right, thanks a lot for joining everybody. This is really fun. Yeah.
So a couple different things. We'll be on the NBA's Twitch channel on Thursday doing Bucks against Sixers, which should be a pretty awesome game. And then the NBA cast will be back next Tuesday. And I cannot remember what the game is.
All right, well, you can look that up. Well, I'll remind you guys to please give us a support at patreon.com/DuncanLaRue, where we're posting everything on the trade deadline, updating salary sheets. You can see the salary consequences of these trades about as quickly as they happen. And you also get subscriber-only podcasts as well. And, of course, anytime we come up with some sort of a list or do some research or whatever for the podcast, we always post it there as well.
Like the full breakdown of the mock trade deadline, things like that.
Yeah.
Thursday, Bucks hosting the Sixers on the NBA's twitch.tv/NBA. Tuesday, NBA cast, Clippers at Sixers.
That'll be good.
Bounce rematch.